couple of games by under a kick, and they're playing Chapman Valley, and at half-time, as I mentioned, at the moment, Chapman Valley just doing enough, not getting away too far, but Chapman Valley 4-8-32, Northampton 1-5-11. The other game promises to be a really good one, Peter, the game between Brigades and Towns, third playing fourth. Both sides have had 4 wins for the year, and this is really going to be an interesting contest. We were both very impressed with Towns last week, and they come up against Brigades. Brigades got Nathan Svensson back in the side now. They have had a few changes too. They're not at there, still looking pretty strong, and Brigades have sort of gone along pretty quietly doing their stuff this year, and so too have Towns. So it's going to be interesting to see how it does play out there at GBSC Sports Park today.
Yeah, it was a wonderful game last week, Glenn. Probably one of the best we've seen so far this year. There was a lot of intensity right throughout the game. I think he said that the lead changed about 3 or 4 times per quarter, not per game, per quarter. And it certainly was a treat to watch. And we've been lamenting the style of football, not only played in the GNFL, but also at higher levels in the Waffle and also the AFL of late. But we've seen a bit of a change in that last night, as we saw in Sydney. There was a pretty good game between Sydney and the Western Bulldogs, where we saw the ball probably not tossed up more than 2 or 3 times, with free kicks and marks being paid right around the ground, and a lot of fluid play at both ends of the ground as well. So let's hope that's shown again today in this particular game, because both sides have come to play. Mullewa, they are a side that is, start off the season, as you said, Glenn, pretty well, but then they've fallen into a little bit of a hole. But Rovers really have struggled to get off the bottom of the table or get things started. They had a reasonable start against Railways a couple of weeks ago, but then their second half of footy just didn't match the current table leaders. But it's going to be interesting today to see the inclusion of Jamin Alone and also Tom Denton, and that will make a bit of a difference in the middle of the ground, won't it?
Yeah, very, very good players, both of them. I don't know how much their preparation has been. Yeah, so Yalala is our scoreboard this afternoon, one of the major sponsors of the Mullewa Football Club. So Yalala is the corporation that are sponsoring the Mullewa Footy Club over the next few years, and we thank them for doing that. And the Yalala scoreboard has been on Mullewa's track this afternoon, because we've seen Mullewa win the Colts and they won the reserve.
But remiss me, Glenn, you were talking about the game that's happening out at GBC Sports Park today. As you did mention, Brigades have got away about their business quite quietly. I think they're the sleeping giant about to be awoken as we head to the business end of the season after Country Week. I think over there, Corey Foote and his team have a few things yet to be unleashed from Brigades, but Towns, certainly. I think you mentioned interesting statistics about Towns this morning, that their side has been simply unchanged for most of the season, which is unlike other sides in the competition.
No, most sides are making 3 or 4 or 5 changes a week, and Towns seem just to go all about and make very few changes, as we see the umpires coming out on the game, on the ground for this afternoon's game. And as I've mentioned before, our umpires this afternoon, plenty of experience there. We've got Darren Forrester, Paul Luxton and Claire Knight in control this afternoon, and it'll be interesting to see how this game plays out. Both sides would be looking forward to seeing how it goes. It's going to be an interesting game, Peter. Mullewa haven't been playing as well as they had at previous times this year, and with those inclusions, some really star players into the lineup, as we see Jamin Alone warming up at the northern end of the ground. He's still a big, strong boy, and he kicks the ball beautifully, so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
And certainly we'll be talking to Kobe Bursell before the game, despite how Rovers are travelling on the field at the moment. Things off the field are really starting to step up at the club. Things are a lot of great atmosphere around the Rover Football Club at the moment. So they are in a rebuilding phase, and as long as they stick together and enjoy their footy, things will come.
As we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and, of course, Kirrilly Wall, the member for Geraldton, we can tell you 3/4 time. It seems a bit strange when the games start at different times of the day, but that's the world we live. And a 3/4 time in the game out at Mazzucchelli Oval. Chapman Valley are 8 goals 10, and they lead Northampton 2 goals 6. So that's what's going on. And next week, Chapman Valley, as they did last year, have the bye over Country Week, so they have a long gap before their next game, which is not always a blessing, I don't think. Sometimes you need to have continuity, don't you?
Exactly. Momentum is an important thing, Glenn, and if you lose that momentum, it's pretty hard to get it started again.
It can be, for sure and certain, but it might be a bonus. There's still some... The big ruckman at Chapman Valley is still injured, so they will be looking forward to
Glenn, just touching on Country Week, and a bit of a red flag. This morning we haven't seen a squad at all for Country Week yet.
Well, I'm sure the players have, but the media hasn't seen anything as yet, as far as I know, and I haven't seen anything on Facebook as far as I'm aware. But I know they did train last Monday evening, so it'll be interesting to see. They'll have only one more training, or two more trainings before Country Week, so they had their first training last Monday evening, I do believe, and they'll train again on Monday evening, and then they'll have one more, I would think, one more training on the Monday after before they head off to Perth the week after.
It'll be interesting to see what the lineup is, because we're moving into A grade this year after taking out their Big 8 crown last season. And of course, we need to have a side that is
very competitive.
Very competitive if we're going to be competitive in that competition.
But we do know that some players have decided to take the trip to Europe. So there's some good players that are unavailable because they are touring, and that makes it very, very difficult. Some quality players, and some of those would certainly be in the squad, I would think, if they were available, but they won't be available.
We always said, Glenn, sometimes just in jest, that we probably should have a mid-season game in Bali.
Yeah, and that would certainly draw the crowd and certainly help everyone out.
But we get the holiday and the games in as well.
But while we're talking about Country Week, don't forget Radio Mama will be calling all the action. As always, you're away this time, Peter, because you're on leave in Europe yourself. But we'll have the Radio Mama team of James Gardner, myself and Ross Worthington calling all the action. And the League, Division 1 on Friday, and that's the 11th of July. We'll be calling the game from Leederville Oval, and Great Northern play Goldfields at 10 o'clock, Great Northern play Avon at 1 o'clock. And then on Saturday, down the road to Mandurah at Lane Group Park. And on the Saturday, the 12th of July, Great Northern play Sour West at 11 o'clock, Great Northern play Peel at 2 p.m. on the Saturday. And then if the grand final is fortunate enough to have Great Northern in it, we'll be calling all the action of Division 1 at Leederville Oval on Sunday. So a big build-up to Country Week, and it's only a couple of weeks away now. Only one more round of fixtures after this weekend. We've got this weekend's round, and then next weekend's round next Saturday, and then we're off to Country Week the week after. So a busy time of year, Peter.
It certainly is, but an exciting time of year as both teams come into the middle now for the toss of the coin here at Mullewa this afternoon. Of course, both these sides are keen for a win this week after going down dearly against their respective competition last week. So coming in to make the toss, it looks like it's he's going to make the toss for Mullewa. We'll see, unless the toss has already been made. But no, both captains are coming in, I think, to do that. No, they've already done. They've already made the toss. Yeah. We missed that one, Glenn. So moving into position, it looks like that Rovers are kicking it toward the southern end, as I can see some of their forwards moving down there, and the Mullewa town end is the town to the end to which Mullewa are kicking.
Yeah, beautiful conditions here at Mullewa Oval. As Peter mentioned already, the oval's in very good condition, and setting ourselves for a big afternoon at the footy. And it's great that you can be here on Radio Mama, your home of GNFL footy. And it's just about 2:30 bounce time for the majority of GNFL football games that we call. And you can always get all the action on a Saturday afternoon on Radio Mama, your home of GNFL football. Umpire Claire Knight holds the ball aloft. We're about to get this game underway. Round 10 for the Freemasons Hotel. And the ball goes high into the air, and the Rovers ruckman gets the best of it. Ball comes to ground, picked up again by the Rovers ruckman, and Tazewell gets a handball out, but it's picked up by Mullewa now, putting a handle on it. He slips over at a crucial stage. Ball picked up now by Leedham Papador, gets it out.
Correction, Mullewa going to the south of the ground, and Rovers to the north.
Okay, as we see the ball coming to Mullewa, Mullewa will get it out through Corey Walsh. Big pack around the ball, and the umpire will come in and throw the ball up. No, he's giving it plenty of opportunity. Eventually the ball goes out of bounds on the boundary line, and the boundary umpire will come in and throw the ball in. So the ball was out of bounds, and the umpire to put the ball back into play. So A steady start to this contest here at Mullewa this afternoon. The ruckmen go at it. Ball comes to ground. Northampton get the best of Mullewa will get the best of it through Kristen Papertalk. Gets it up towards full forward. And as Peter mentioned, we have Mullewa going to the southern end, and the opponent's Rovers going to the northern end. The umpires picked out a free kick, and umpire Forrester, who will see the free kick go the way of Mullewa. So the young Mullewa player will shoot on goal. So Mullewa's Christopher Ryder is the player. So Christopher,
getting used to him a different. First time we've seen him in a different Guernsey.
We haven't seen him in a Mullewa Guernsey before. We've seen him in Brigades Guernsey. So Christopher Ryder with the ball. Jamie Ryder not playing today. Christopher is flying the flag for the Riders. So Christopher Ryder, 35 metres out, directly in front, kicking to the southern end. So an important kick. Christopher Ryder, he's kicked plenty of goals in his time, and he's kicked another one. Goal umpire signals all clear. And on the Yalala scoreboard, it is Mullewa. Get first blood on the scoreboard for Community Bank Geraldton. We've played 2 minutes, and a good goal there to Christopher Ryder.
The windsock, I can see it here at the moment out at the ground, Glenn. I can see where it should be, but I'm not quite sure what end the breeze is favouring. It would seem that it may be favouring the southern end, but Mullewa certainly have used that to their advantage early in the game. So one straight goal to Mullewa. The Demons yet to open their account. This quarter brought to you by Community Bank Geraldton. We thank them for their support through season 2024. Back in the middle with umpire Luxton now. Up they go, players setting themselves. Rovers win the knock, and it comes out of the middle. Goes away now on that player who did well in Tom Denton. Good to see him back in the red and black. Denton gets it back, gives it to a player, demands it back. It's almost caught, gets out of a bit of trouble, puts it onto his boot, sends it into half-forward area. Gee, it was a beautiful lace-out kick. It's marked now by Parfitt. Parfitt plays on into the half-forward area really quickly. One would think that he probably should have taken his time, because the ball goes the way of the Mullewa player. But the Rovers player has been dealt with off the ball, and I think he will have the shot on goal. So Rovers will quickly have an answer to Mullewa's first goal. So coming in now, kicking toward the town end, or the Mullewa end, or northern end. Looks pretty good off the boot. It is straight through the middle. It's one goal apiece. No, it's 1 point. Gee, that was a goal that we're begging for the Demons. They've gone to just the 1 point. They trail Mullewa the one straight goal.
Yes, Dwayne Neville offline.
He was. It's uncustomary kick by Neville. He usually doesn't miss him from that close.
So Mullewa defenders to bring the ball in come to the club room side. And Mullewa player flies high. Greg Gelby couldn't put a handle on it. Ball comes to ground, picked up again by Mullewa. Comes back to a teammate. That teammate, Anthony Hayden, was tackled, caught in possession. Free kick will go the way of Rovers. So Rovers, Denham Ranger with the ball, puts it on his left boot, kicks it up towards half forward, looking up there for some movement. The Rovers slap the ball out, goes the way now of Tommy Denton, the JJ Clune medalist, kicks it up towards the forward line, looking up towards the teeth of goals, picked up now by a Rovers player, throws it on his boot, did very well, did Clayton Parfitt.
He did.
And Clayton Parfitt gets his first goal of the afternoon. So on the Yalala scoreboard at the moment, 3.5 minutes gone in this first term, with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton, and it is the Rovers side. The visitors are 1-1. They lead Mullewa 1 goal straight. So a good tight contest here up at Mullewa land.
Rovers slightly on top in the early stages, or middle stages, toward the middle stages of the first term. Clayton Parfitt, he hasn't lost it at all, Glenn, but he uses that big body well. And a snap at goal has resulted in a major for the Demons. They lead by a point here at Mullewa this afternoon. As I mentioned, this quarter brought to you by Community Bank Geraldton. Dreaded O'Malley game day. Peter Forenza and Glenn Barton bringing you all the action from Mullewa. As we said, a beautiful drive out here today through the farming district that is going to be reaping the benefits come harvest time, from what I can see right now. Up the ball goes in the middle again. It's one Kobe Bursell. In fact, it's the other ruckman that went up into the air to try and work it there, and Blake Tazewell, but the umpire wasn't happy with what resulted, and she'll throw it up once again. So they go at it, the two ruckmen. Tazewell wins it on this occasion, goes down to Denton, but he loses footing, comes out of the way of Paper Talk now, quickly onto his boot, into the half-forward area. The defence for Rovers does well through Bursell. Bursell in turn gets it to a teammate there. That teammate is Kevin Sealander. Sealander goes wide, but doesn't get it to a teammate, goes away with Mullewa once again. They fight to keep it in their forward 50, going toward the boundary. Rovers Sealander gets it again, onto his boot, into the middle of the ground, but only as far as that player in lead and Paper Talk. Paper Talk loses possession though. Rovers looking the better at the moment as they kick to the outer side in front of the scoreboard, which sees them lead by just a solitary point. Early stages of this particular encounter out here at Mullewa. Bit of a pack does develop, but the umpire's letting things play on, which is good to see. A player is tackled. No prior possession, no prior opportunity, says the umpire, and she'll go in to relieve the pressure.
So early stages of term number 1, Drennan O'Malley Motors game day for Community Bank Geraldton. The ball goes up. Umpire says you were caught in possession. Muller will get the free kick. They use the advantage rule to good effect. Gelby gets the ball quickly up towards the forward line, but the Rovers defender there, and Kobe Bursell, who's been in good form, plays on, no, unfortunately, puts himself under pressure and gives Mullewa an opportunity again. They're within 40 metres of goal. The Mullewa player centres the ball, looking there for a teammate in Delton Jones. Whistle on play. Umpire's seen a free kick, and a Mullewa player gave a free kick away, and it goes the way of the player there in Sean Tunbridge. Brennan, not Sean Tunbridge.
Coming down the ground, it goes away now of Denton. Denton getting into the play, as you'd expect, the JJ Clune medalist. Going the way of a couple of players there that worked to get the ball, but on this occasion it was Mitch Nesbitt that was first in the race, goes toward the boundary. Rovers still in control though as they send it further afield, just in front of our broadcast position. The ball goes one way, then the other. Muller will get the better of the bounce as they go forward now through the guise of Bonnie. Bonnie now doesn't kick it to the intended target. Coming out of defence, Rovers cut it off and send it down the ground, and there he is again. Young Brennan takes a nice mark just in front of our broadcast position.
One of the leaders out at the Railway Rovers club at the moment. Brennan gets the ball up towards half forward, but Mullewa can regroup, and they do. Ball comes out, comes the way of Sheldon Nelly, an impressive junior. Sheldon Nelly getting the ball up the ground. He picks out a teammate. That teammate, Kristen Paperdog, has had more possessions than anyone else at the moment. His kick's not a good one, though. Goes the way of Jamie Guy, but he was caught in a bad position. The ball spills, goes the way of Kevin Sealander. Kevin Sealander goes out wide, picks out Clayton Azevedo, or Clay Azevedo. Azevedo gets it out towards centre wing, gets a teammate out there who quickly gets the ball up the ground. And Rovers are trying to get the ball into their forward 50, and they can do now as the ball comes the way now of Denham Ranger. Ranger kicks it forward. He picks out Farron Parfitt, and Farron Parfitt.
Nice passage of play there by the Demons, Glenn.
Yeah, very nice. They move the ball along the outer side. So Farron Parfitt, he's only 30 metres out on an angle, plays on quickly, but he had a teammate running into good position. Sheldon Nelly is that player, and Sheldon Nelly takes a good strong mark, and Sheldon is directly in front, about 20 metres out. So Sheldon Nelly, as I mentioned, a promising young player, and has an opportunity to get.
Comes from good pedigree, doesn't he?
He certainly does. Yes, his family have always been very good footballers.
His dad a premiership player with the Towns Footy Club.
So we have an opportunity now. Sheldon Nelly Jr. shooting on goal from 20 metres, kicking towards the northern end, but awkward kick and off the side of the boot and hits the goal post.
The breeze might be playing fickle at that end of the ground, Glenn.
So Sheldon Nelly didn't get a goal, so the scores now roll over on the Yellala scoreboard. It sees Rovers a 1-2. They lead Mullewa 1 goal straight as the ball comes back into play, and Rovers can regroup, and they do through the hard-working Jamin alone. Kicks it towards goal, but it's cut off by the Mullewa defenders, and Mullewa can clear through the agency of Keegan Simpson. Simpson goes up the ground to half-back where he finds Greg Gelby. Gelby centres the ball now. Dangerous kick, but he's picked out his teammate. That teammate is Anthony Hayden. Hayden plays on, kicks it up towards centre wing. So Mullewa can get a run on if they can pick it up. And the player going back there is Justin Woodley. He gets a handball away. Picks it the way of Cassia Yeda. Yeda gets it up towards half forward. Ball running free. Ryder's there. We know how clever he is around goals. Gets it out to a teammate. That teammate shoots on goal from 25 metres. And he too hits the post. And there was a good effort there from Mullewa's Karam Aitken. But 1 point the result. So on the Yellala scoreboard, it's 1-2 apiece. And we've played the early part of 10 minutes in this first term.
I'd like to know what the breeze is doing out there, Glenn. I think it might be coming even from a southeasterly direction at this stage. Ball coming into the middle of the ground. Nice mark is taken in there by Clay Azevedo. They need him to step up. He's a player that can do things if he wants to, has the ability. Azevedo sends the ball high into the air, into the half-forward area, but doesn't meet the intended target marked on the half-back line by the Mullewa custodian. He decides to go straight down the middle of the ground. Not a good idea, but it works out well for him. Pays dividends as it goes away now of Mullewa. They come further afield through Leon Galby. Leon Galby, a great player for the club, sends it down the wing in front of our broadcast position. Misses all and sundry, though. Goes to ground. Mullewa first in the race as they take it toward the boundary. Will they take it over? The umpire says no, they kept it in. They get it to their boot, but in comes Bursell. He's working hard, well in defence, is Bursell. And I should have realised when I saw him running toward that end of the ground that he would be defending. He has defended pretty well in the game we saw against Railways a couple of weeks ago, but Bursell certainly is a key player for the Demons once again today. The ball is played over the line. It'll be about to be thrown in now. Just inside the forward 50 from Mullewa. Bursell does well, but he's caught in the attempt to do so. The ball spills free. Goes forward now for Rovers. Outside the centre square. It's picked up by Mullewa now. Further afield it goes off Shane Bonney. He tries to find a chest but doesn't. It goes away of Brennan now. Brennan on the far side. He's on the fat side of the ground as he has a bit of space now as Brennan, but he sends it inboard. He's looking for support in there in Azevedo. Azevedo doesn't get it on the first attempt. Gets it on the second. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty keen as he puts it onto his boot into the full forward area. Up goes that player to try and take a great mark, but he went up too early. The ball spills free. Goes away Farron Parfitt once again, but he's going to run into an open goal, and he scores the second goal of the afternoon for the Demons.
There you have it. So Farron looking dangerous. The Rovers looking dangerous when they move the ball forward. They move it forward quite quickly and doing it well, and they now are starting to take a little bit of a lead after getting the ball in the forward 50 another time. And
Azevedo doing it right in the middle of the ground, isn't he?
Well, we've always sing his praises. It's good to see him going well. So just looking at the goal scorers at this stage, Clayton Parfitt for Rovers has kicked one and Farron Parfitt has kicked the other, and for the Mullewa side, Christopher Ryder has their goals. So looking at the Yalala scoreboard, it is Rovers 2 goals 2-14 to Mullewa 1 goal 1. As we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirralie War, the member for Geraldton, the women's game at GBSC Sports Park has concluded, and Towns have won that game. Towns 13 goals, 12-90 have defeated Brigades 1 behind, so a good win there to the Towns women. Ball back in the centre, and this time Mullewa will get the best of it, but Rovers read it best off the boot of Clay Azevedo. Gets it up towards half forward, but Mullewa defence is solid. The wall goes back and he gets it the way of Papertalk. Kristen Papertalk comes towards centre wing, clubroom side, where he picks out a teammate in Greg Gelby. Greg Gelby gets it up towards half forward, but the Rovers defender almost took a good mark, couldn't handle it in the end. Whistle on play, and the Rovers player was held down or pushed down after he got rid of it. So the free kick goes the way of Rovers and Blake Tazewell. Tazewell's kick goes in towards the centre ground, looking for Azevedo. Goes the way now of Jamin Alone. He puts it on his left boot, goes out wide, looking for the run of Brennan, but it's not a good kick. Goes the way of Jaden Wall for Mullewa. He releases the pressure, gets it up the way of Woodley. Woodley on centre wing, very close to the boundary line. In goes Jacob Troy for Rovers. He sees the ball across the boundary line.
Rovers still holding the edge here at Mullewa this afternoon. More fluent when they get into their forward line. They've had more sorties forward than their opponents, that's for sure. As we near to the quarter time break here, thanks to this quarter brought to you by Community Bank Geraldton. The ball coming in now, and the umpire says a free kick. Player was held onto when he shouldn't have been. So a free kick going the way of Mullewa on the far side. Mullewa Oval here this afternoon. Into the half-forward area it goes. Up they go, and there he is again, Kobe Bursell. He certainly knows how to read the game. McGovern-esque, you could say, as he kicks it to the outer side and finds Brennan. He's in everything so far, young Brennan. Just in front of the scoreboard, which sees his side leading 2-2 to 1-1 as he goes further afield. Jamin Alone at centre wing, sends it inboard now. Doesn't meet the intended target. Will the bounce be kind for Rovers? No, it's better for Mullewa. They'll come out of defence here as they steady the ship somewhat, send it into the middle of the ground, and easily a mark is taken in there. They come wider now out to this particular player. And that's Greg Gelby. He can't take the mark. He'll follow it towards the boundary. He'll keep it inside, just in front of our broadcast position. Sending it inboard, he finds a teammate who's equal to the task. Down the ground they go now. And it goes off the boot of Shane Bonney, the veteran, the JJ Clune medalist. Finds a teammate there, that's Tristan Taylor. He sends it inboard. Another mark is cleverly taken by Greg Gelby. Nice setup by Mullewa. Can they finish it off? Defence for Rovers has other ideas as it goes away of Jamie Gear. The premiership player, premiership defender, Gets it to Brennan. Brennan plays on now. In the middle of the ground, it still is Rovers. Rovers player slips over, though, in an attempt to send it forward. They lose possession. It is set upon quickly by Mullewa, who sent it up into the goal square, but alas, it doesn't meet the square and, in fact, goes out over the boundary. So the ball about to be thrown in deep attack once again for Mullewa.
15 minutes gone in term number 1 for Community Bank Geraldton. Boundary umpire waiting for the players to get into position. As they say, just throw it in, son, and get the game moving. So he's waiting for the ball to be thrown in. The ruckman goes the way of the Rovers player, knocks it down to Jamin alone. He gets it to a teammate who gets it quickly up the ground, and Rovers have the ball very close to the boundary line. Dwayne Neville is that player. He's tackled, but gets rid of the ball, gives it away of Tom Denton. Denton breaks across the centre wing, club room side, kicks to the northern end. Almost a good mark there to the Rovers player in Ray Taylor, but the ball's picked up by the Mullewa defence there. And Zach Papertalker, who's doing well back there, gets it up the ground looking for Jaden Wall. He gets it out to Shane Bonney. Bonney gets it out left on the outer side, finds a player in Anthony Hayden, but once again, Sean Brennan's there. Brennan for Rovers gets it the way of a teammate. Back receives the handball, back to the Neville, back to Brennan. Brennan from centre wing kicks it up towards half forward. There's 2-2. The Mullewa players go to ground. Ball comes away of Farron Parfitt. He feeds it out to a teammate, runs towards goal, and Sheldon Nelly gets... Shane Bonney, is it?
Sheldon Nelly.
Sheldon Nelly gets a very good goal. So well done to him. And a very important kick there. And they've done well to get...
Farron Parfitt figuring again in that passage of play and selfishly giving the ball up to... that player then, Nelly, who finished it off for the Demons. The Demons looking pretty good at the moment, Glenn, but this game is played at a frenetic pace. You would not think that both these sides are where they are on the premiership table. Yeah, they enjoy playing offensive footy. There's not a lot of defence in this contest between these two sides. They play a flary sort of style of game. They're very, very good at what they do when they go offensive, and a good goal there and an important kick for the... Jacoby Burstall's holding up in defence, isn't he? As I said, McGovern-esque down there. He's not missing any ball that goes anywhere near him.
No, he's doing really well indeed. So the ball back in the centre, and once again, Rovers can regroup. They get the ball forward, goes the way of Alone. He gives it out toward Denton. So a couple of stars revisiting. Get the ball up towards the 50-metre line, and Rovers set the ball up again.
Oh, nice mark.
And Farron Parfitt is marked. And Farron has taken a good, strong mark. Plays on quickly, gives it over to Farron, and Farron finishes off. Is that how it was? Farron kicked
I
that
think
goal?
Farron kicked the goal, in the end. So Rovers suddenly have got a bit of a quick step as they move forward now in the game. They sort of spring in their step is what I was looking for, the word. Spring in their step. They've taken advantage of a couple of passages of play there where the Mullewa side have found wanting or found sleeping, and suddenly things have changed quite dramatically here at Mullewa Oval. Rovers have a handy lead.
Yeah, looking at the Yalala scoreboard now, it is Rovers 4-2. They lead the Mullewa side 1-1, so we've seen some very
I'll tell you what,
goals.
Tayswell will be thinking he's having a birthday, being able to ruck to people like Denton and Alone, wouldn't he?
He would.
Denton comes out of the middle on that occasion into space. Can they go forward again, Rovers? They are making great opportunity as they do. Coming forward the way of Nelly, goes way of Denton again. He puts it into space. Running out is Farron Parfitt. He's unable to collect it. Tackles the player who's caught in possession. Parfitt gets another bite of the cherry. Goes the way of Denton, and he goals again for the Demons.
Yeah, so it's becoming a little bit of a... since the 10-minute mark, we've seen Rovers add 4 goals now, so... Mullewa started okay, but Rovers have really slipped into top gear now, and they've really put the pressure on as we head towards quarter time. Heading towards time on now in this first term, and on the scoreboard for Yalala, it is 5-2 to 1-1 in favour of Rovers, who have come over to play Mullewa here at Mullewa this afternoon.
It's good to see a player like Denton on display, Glenn. We know what he's capable of. JJ Clune medalist, but he's second, third and fourth attempts at the ball. He just doesn't stop, does he?
No, it's good. I mean, he's a quality player. We know his preparation hasn't been probably as good as he would normally have it because he's been away overseas in recent times. But, yeah, he doesn't lose his ability, and it's good to see him putting in for his old club this afternoon.
Comes out in the middle now, off the boot of a line. It's a nice big kick, searing kick into the full forward area. And gee, it was a beautiful kick. And in the end, a nice mark is taken by Rovers once again in the guise of Curtis Smith. Now, Curtis will have a shot on goal. He's going to be just outside the 50 when he gets onto this one, kicking toward the northern end. Rovers certainly in a purple patch at the moment. So Glenn Barter no sooner has to write something down than something else happens. That's a nice kick by Curtis. Is it going to go through the middle? I think it has just gone over the top of the goal post. And alas, it's gone through for the minor score. But that sort of put a bit of a stop on Rovers because they certainly were having a pretty good run at the moment.
They certainly are. They're making the scoreboard tick over a little bit too quick for Mullewa's like. As Ryder gets a handball forward, goes the way of Gelby. Gelby under pressure. Kicks the ball up the ground, but Gelby will get the free kick. That's Greg. And Greg gets it up to his teammate there in Jesse Phillips. Jesse Phillips, and it's fair to say that Mullewa are desperate for a goal. Ball running free, and the Mullewa player has to go through the wrong side of the goals there, unfortunately for him. And that was Kamal Paper Talk.
4-3 plays 1-1 in favour of the Demons, Glenn.
Yeah, so it's one-way traffic, particularly in this term. And I think the scoreboard may have missed one goal as well. The ball comes the way now of Rovers. Rovers bring the ball out of defence on the clubroom side. And Rovers youngster kicks the ball forward. Mullewa player almost got interfered with. The umpire gave him the benefit of the doubt. The Rovers player went a little early. And Ray Taylor was that player, but he was given the benefit of the doubt. The umpire says throw the ball back in, and that's exactly what the umpire will do. Time
ticking away in the first term, and the break is needed by Mullewa, one would think.
Yes, they started well, but it's certainly been a 5-goal uninterrupted run from Mullewa, from Rovers since that point. Rovers get the ball now, and it goes the way of Rovers player and Kevin Sealander. Kevin Sealander on half-back, looking for some movement. There isn't a lot of movement, so he goes right across the ground, looking out there
over the umpire's head,
and picks out a teammate there, and that's Jamie Geyer. Jamie Geyer has the ball. Jamie Geyer kicks the ball up towards the scoreboard side. Rovers still in possession. The ball running freely now. Delton Jones is the player. He gets it on to a teammate, and that player is Kevin Sealander. He gets it up the ground, goes the way of
too easy.
The way of Parfitt. Parfitt shoots on goal. That's his third goal of the quarter. And on the scoreboard for Yalella, it is 6 goals, 3 Rovers, 1 goal, 2 Mullewa. So a really great way to start the game for Rovers. And Rovers are on target at this early stage to get another premiership win.
So there's 3 goals to
and
Farron.
And they're for the year, actually.
So is it 3 to Farron and 1 to his brother? His brother got one too.
Clayton got one, yeah.
Clayton got one as well. So Farron's on 5 this afternoon. He'd be loving the delivery that he's getting in the forward line. Glenn, he's been used to that in the premiership years with the Demons, and it's all got but dried up in this season, that's for sure. But he's getting delivery today, and he is relishing it, is Farron Parfitt. The ball back in the middle now. Rovers 5-3. Lead Mullewa 1-2. Can they keep this up? Can Mullewa stem the flow? Ball goes away of Rovers now. That player caught in possession. And a free kick will go the way of the Mullewa player there. We're talking about Greg Gelby. Gelby comes laterally now. He's looking for a teammate, but gee, it was a pretty lazy kick as Malone comes in and cleans up his opponent fairly, that is, but goes over the boundary. But Malone's put on a bit of condition since coming out of the reserves for Subiaco this season, Glenn, so I wouldn't want to be in front of him when he comes through.
He's a strong boy, this man.
He is. The ball about to be thrown in front of our broadcast position. Time ticking away. One would think it is almost quarter time.
Been a few goals scored though.
There has. The ball comes in though, and that's been by Rovers into space, but Mullewa will have it now through the guise of Shane Bonney, the Clue medalist. A few Clue medalists out there today as Bonney sends it down the middle of the ground, but there's Bursell. He does well. He waits for the ball. He couldn't mark it, but he waited till it went to ground. Ensured that it stayed in his keeping as the Mullewa player dives in and is quickly set upon. A bit of a pack develops, stacks on the mill, and the ball will be about to be thrown in now. Just outside the forward 50 for Mullewa. They're desperate for a goal coming into quarter time. Will they be able to do it? The Rovers defence has been a mainstay in this particular game to this point. As I said, Kobe Bursell leading the charge. The ball coming out into space now. Can they run onto it? Gelby As Greg Galby gets it in front of himself and looks for a pass now. Decides to put it onto his boot. It's a big high rainmaker of a kick, but misses all and sundry and goes through for the minor score. So they're getting into their forward 50, Glenn, but fluency is certainly not with the Mullewa side at the moment.
Yeah, dying stages of this first term for Community Bank Geraldton as Rovers get the ball out of defence, looking up there for Clayton Parfitt. Ball spills, goes the way of Mullewa. Mullewa will get the ball forward through Zach Papertalk, gets it to a teammate, but the Rovers defence do well. Ball comes the way of the Rovers player there who got the ball for, and Jones comes the way of Taylor. Taylor for Rovers, kicks it up looking for Curtis. Curtis leads the race for the ball, feeds a handball out. Ball comes back towards Mullewa. Mullewa's Leadham Paperdorks there, does very well. Goes it backwards to go forward, goes the way of Wall, back towards Leadham. Leadham Papertalk grabs the ball now on half back, kicks it up towards centre wing, finds a teammate. Running forward with the ball now is Charlie Come Again, gets it over to a teammate in Woodley, back towards a teammate. Mullewa over using the ball, they need to grab it and kick it. Goes the way of Gelby. Gelby breaks a tackle. Gets a big kick forward. That's Leon. Leon runs around at the opponent. Oh, he runs himself into trouble. And we see the ball come the way of Rovers. And Rovers will mop up on half back. And the ball running free. Whistle on play. Umpire's seen a free kick. It'll go the way of Rovers. As the siren sounds, it's quarter time at the football. Round 10 of the GNFL Premiership season for the Freemasons Hotel. And quarter time on the Yellala scoreboard. It is Rovers who lead the way. Rovers are 6 goals 3. They lead Mullewa 1 goal 3. And you're tuned to Radio Mama, your home of GNFL football.
Drenton O'Malley Motor. Brought to you by our sponsor, Melissa Price, your local member for the Seed of Durack. Stay tuned to the home of GNFL football, Radio Mama.
And a very good afternoon. Welcome back. It's quarter time at the football. The second time just about to get underway. Umpire Forrester puts the ball into the air and Rovers quickly into movement. And Jamin alone as that player gets the ball quickly up towards the full forward zone. A Mullewa player interfered with a Rovers player.
Farron's got to go for goal number 5 already.
Number 3. He's kicked 3. He'll kick 4.
Number 4.
Yep. So looking at the goal scorers and our quarter-by-quarter summaries with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirrily War, the member for Geraldton. For Farron, Parfitt has kicked 3. This will be his 4th if he gets it. He's only 20 metres out, kicking to the southern end. Clayton Parfitt has kicked 1. Sheldon Nelly has kicked 1. Tom Denton has kicked 1. And Christopher Wright has kicked Mullewa's only goal. Goal umpire doesn't move. Ball goes over his head. And a 30-point margin at quarter time has now turned into a 36-point margin. So it didn't take Farron long.
I'm never listening to you again, Glenn, because you told me I questioned it late in the term whether you said Farron Parfitt has kicked 4 goals. I said, you sure you haven't counted Clayton's in that? You said no, and now you have.
I said your Rovers. Rovers, I think we were trying to keep up with the scoreboard, which wasn't right. But no, Farron had definitely kicked 4, and Clayton had kicked 3, but now Farron has kicked 4.
No, Farron has kicked 4
and Clayton has kicked 1.
Yes, so there you go. Thank you, Glenn.
So you're right now. Yeah. You're onto it.
But I don't never want to question you, Glenn.
You foresaw
I do not want to question Mr. Football.
You foresaw that he was going to kick another goal, but Mullewa said we can kick a goal now, and Mullewa win the ball out of the centre, and Leadham Papertalk gets it up the ground, and he's picked out a teammate. Mullewa need a few of these quickly. Tristan Taylor is that player. So Tristan Taylor, can he stop the run? We've seen Rovers kick the last 7 goals unanswered, or the last 6 goals unanswered. There goes the kick from Tristan. He's offline, 1 point only on the Yalala scoreboard. It is Mullewa goes to 1 goal 4, and we see that Rovers are 7 goals 3. And Peter, you're looking after the contenders for the Skitters Restaurant Player of the Day. Who did you like from Rovers in that first quarter?
Oh, well, there are quite a few of them, Glenn, but the boys that have really kick-started Rovers' good game today have certainly been the players in Farron, Parfitt, Denton and Alone, but Kobe Bursell has been good in defence, and young Brennan never gives up.
And looking at the Mullewa better players, Christian Papertalk, Kelvin Wall, Greg Gelby and young Woodley doing okay, but they need to lift. Mullewa have the ball in their forward 50. Mullewa shoot towards goal, pretty good effort there, and the ball from Woodley goes towards goal, but it is a point only on the Yalala scoreboard. Mullewa go to 1 goal 5. They trail Rovers, who are 7 goals. So doing okay. The Rovers side, Mullewa need to get the pressure on and keep the pressure on. Ball to come back into play. Ball is out of bounds.
Rovers had a 30-point lead at quarter time, and they've extended it early in the second term.
So the ball will be brought back in from the kick in, comes out towards the forward line, and Mullewa desperate to get the ball while they have it in that line. The umpire said the ball was held to him as we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton. And the game is concluded out at Mazzucchelli Oval. Chapman Valley have had a pretty comfortable win. Chapman Valley 12 goals 13-85 have defeated Northampton 2 goals 6-18. So Chapman Valley getting the job done there, and an early finish for the Chapman Valley and Northampton players and supporters so they can enjoy the balcony.
And Coach Jaden Schofield will be happy about that win because they've had some pretty close games in recent weeks, haven't they?
They have, and the thing is that it's always good to go into a break, and Chapman Valley are having a bye next weekend, and they've got the double bye because it's country week, so it's always good to go into a bye with a win under your belt. It's far better than the reverse. As Rovers go forward now, Rovers shoot on goal. Unlucky for the Rovers players. Lucky for Mullewa. He hit the goal post with that kick. Did the young Rovers player in Denham Ranger.
Yeah, Azevedo working well along the wing on the far side of the ground to help set that up. He's been probably amongst the better players as well. Glenn, remiss of me, but they've had a few Rovers getting a lot of the ball as the ball comes into the middle of the ground now. Goes away of Kristen Papertalk. He's a former gold medalist as well as the ball comes inboard now, going the way of Rovers Teswell. Teswell tries to get it to a teammate. Doesn't achieve that as it goes away now of Mullewa as they send it into their forward line, but Rovers defence toying with it somewhat as they keep possession. Coming out of defence now, the Demons have a bit of space. Will they be able to use it? The ball coming down the way of a Rovers player who was caught at 6s and 7s on that occasion in Whitby. Whitby loses possession. The ball spills free in the middle of the ground. It's picked up by Paper Talk once again. So at the moment, Mullewa playing off Rovers' mistakes. Can they make them pay as they send it down the middle of the ground? Rovers Bursell is there again. Does well. Beautiful handball, gets it out to Alone. Alone doesn't meet the target. Well, the target doesn't meet Alone, I should say. He loses possession, goes back to Mullewa. Coming through is this player. He does well. Into the half-forward area he goes, and we're talking about Paper Talk. And a nice mark is taken in the forward area. So the game of a shot on goal. Gelby is the man. And this is an important goal for Mullewa. They haven't scored since the early stages of the first term, Glenn.
No, they kicked the first goal at the 2-minute mark. They haven't scored since.
No. So the ball shot at goal by Gelby is an important one. It's a pretty good goal sneak as he kicks toward the northern end. And it's gone straight through the middle. That's the important goal for Mullewa. They go to 2 goals 5 now. And they trail Rovers 7 goals 4.
So that was Leon, yep. Leon Gelby kicking that goal. So a much-needed goal, as you mentioned, Peter. A very important goal. So Rovers kicked the first one straight out of the quarter, and that was from Farron, and Leon Gelby gets one back. So now Mullewa's goals are Leon Gelby has kicked 1 and Christopher Ryder has kicked 1. So that's where we're at in the early stages of this second term for Melissa Price, the member for Durack. Still waiting on a quarter-time score from the game at GBSC Sports Park. Brigades hosting Towns. So it's 3rd against 4th. So looking forward to seeing what that scores are as the game unfolds.
Ball back in the middle now. Mullewa scoring the second goal. Have they got a bit of a run on? Comes away now of Paper Talk. He gets it into space. Running onto it is a teammate now, just in front of our broadcast position. They do have a bit of space to Mullewa as it goes away now of this player, Tristan Taylor. He sent it further afield, but out comes this man in. We're talking about Jamie Gear. He doesn't waste any time, takes a nice strong mark. He's a good marker's Gear as he goes laterally now and finds Bursell. Bursell doesn't let his teammate down, and there is Brennan. Brennan, one of the better players to this point in the game, sends it further afield, puts a teammate under pressure. He accepts it back. He goes into a host of players as Brennan. He takes them all on, but Mullewa will win on this occasion. They shoot back on goal, and that is another goal to Mullewa. No, it's not. It's gone straight over the top of the point post and through for the minor score. But it was a good effort by Mullewa. At the moment, Glenn, a bit of a lull in Rovers' performance, and Mullewa are taking advantage.
Yes, Rovers look like they're destined to perhaps get their first premiership points of the season, but still a long way to go in this game.
Big call.
If Mullewa were able to get a little bit of momentum, but at the moment Rovers seem to have their measure. Rovers have the ball on centre wing on the outer side. So Rovers have the ball there through the player in Denham Ranger. His kick is turned over, so Mullewa can regroup. Ball slapped forward by Paper Talk. Looking up there for some run. Ball comes away of Kristen Paper Talk. Kristen very close to the boundary line, but he was tackled. And in fact, the free kick will go the way of Rovers. So Rovers play on quickly from defence. Get it up towards centre wing. On the outer side, just over near the Rodeo area here at Mullewa Oval. The ball comes out from the kick, goes back towards Jamin Alone. Ball spills, ball running free, but Rovers doing well. They get the handball back to Brennan. Brennan goes to Tazewell, smothered off the boot. Ball running towards the boundary line again, and Mullewa could pick it up through Shane Bonney, but Rovers do the best, and Rovers quickly get the ball forward. The danger man, Farron Parfitt's there, runs towards goal, but he gets pushed out of it by Paper Talk. In goes the Rovers player. Mullewa will be best to knock it through, and that's exactly what they did. So a force behind. So Rovers go to 7 goals 6. They lead Mullewa 2 goals 5 on the Yellala scoreboard.
Mullewa quickly out of defence now as they try and set something up. Coming down the ground in front of our broadcast position. They lose possession and the ball spills over the boundary. Gee, his eyes lit up, did Farron Parfitt once again. But on this occasion, he overran the ball. This quarter brought to you by Melissa Price, the member for Durack. Hello to Melissa and the team. Of course, the member for our federal seat. In comes the ball now. Players setting themselves, picked up by Mullewa. They do well, sitting into the half-forward area. I'm convinced the breeze is favouring that northern end coming from a southeasterly direction, one would think, even though there's no windsock out there, Glenn, but just the way things seem to be panning out as the ball goes over the boundary once again. So in the top corner now, in the forward 50 for Mullewa, the ball about to be thrown in. Another goal here from Mullewa will start evening things up somewhat. Well, maybe not on the scoreboard, but certainly out on the ground. Ball coming in now, going the way of a Mullewa player, but the umpire goes back to the umpire. Lost his hat, Glenn, in throwing it up and didn't effectively get rid of it. I think he knocked his hat off with the ball. In it comes now. Players setting themselves inside the forward 50, going the way of a Mullewa player who just puts it straight onto his boot. Bit of a rainmaker, up into the air it goes. The fall of the ball are just Mullewa at this stage. They do well as they find space and kick it to the outer side. A nice mark is taken out there, and the mark is taken by Adkins. I should say, sends it further afield. Rovers defence under pressure now as they force it toward the boundary. And they take it toward that boundary, and the umpire blows his whistle to say, yep, it's gone over the line. No, in fact, yep, it's going to be thrown in. Still in deep attack for Mullewa.
Yes, so interesting times. Mullewa have had the ball in their forward 50 a little bit more in this second term. Still aren't getting the score on the board. They need a couple of quick goals to get back into this contest. And we certainly know that Mullewa, if they get a taste of a bit of confidence, they can move the ball quickly. But that's not happening the way they like it. The ball comes forward from a soccer, goes the way of the young Mullewa player. He quickly kicks it forward. But once again, Mullewa in trouble as Jamin alone puts it on his beautiful left boot, goes out wide, picks out a teammate there in Kevin Sealander. He goes up the ground to Brennan, back to Sealander. Sealander from 50 metres, sets sail for home. Ball runs towards the goal line, but the ball goes across the boundary line. There'll be a boundary throw in deep in the right forward pocket. 7-5 plays 2-5, so we've got a 30-point ball game in favour of the visitors this afternoon.
Sean Brennan picking up where he left off, Glenn, picking up a lot of the loose balls.
Yeah, he's a good runner. He runs very hard, does Sean.
And he uses his brain too, because he slows down and looks where he's kicking the ball a lot of the time instead of blazing away. The ball in deep attack now for Rovers. Can they get another score on the ball? Sealander knocks it down. The throw of his opponent. In fact, a whistle has sounded. And a free kick will go the way of Mullewa. The defenders winning out on this occasion. So Mullewa in deep defence now. Have they averted another score by Rovers as the ball comes down the middle of the ground? Player couldn't take the mark. Brennan goes in to pick up what he didn't. The ball goes back the way of Mullewa now onto the boot to the outer side. They've got a bit of a run on here on the far side as the ball goes the way of this player in Wall. Wall puts it onto his boot, sends it inboard. They can set something up down the middle of the ground now into space. Can they run onto it? The ball and the bounce isn't kind for either side as it goes away of Gear now. He goes backwards before he goes forward, but he does well to find space as Jamie Gear puts it onto his boot into space, and there he is. The little speedster himself, the little dynamo. Sean Brennan takes another mark.
And the ball in the centre now with Sealander. Sealander plays on quickly, finds Clayton Parfitt, that is. Clayton kicked an early goal, looking up for his brother Farron further up the ground. Ball comes way of Mullewa, and Mullewa can clear there through Paper Talk. He gets it up the ground, finds Kristen Paper Talk, who's been very good this afternoon, as has young Leadham. Leadham Paper Talk plays on, kicks it to his dad, finds Leadham Senior. Leadham breaks across the centre of the ground, takes a bounce, kicks it towards half forward. Beautiful bit of play, and a good mark taken there by Corey Walsh.
It was a lovely mark.
A beautiful play.
Lace out kick was not too bad either.
Corey Walsh is 50 metres out, so Mullewa will need this one to get their way back into this contest. Corey Walsh, 50 metres out, kicking to the northern end here at Mullewa Oval this afternoon. Round 10 of the GNFL Premiership season. Beautiful kick from Corey Walsh, right on the boundary line, on the goal line. 1 point only, off hands, so well done to Jamie Geyer. Jamie Geyer brings the ball in for Rovers, picks out a teammate in Ranger. He plays on quickly, goes towards the boundary line, and a bit too close to the boundary line, but didn't go out on the full. The ball goes out of bounds, just in front of our Radio Mama broadcast box here at Mullewa. Well, once again, for Radio Mama, we have the best seats in the house.
We certainly do. Peter Forenza and Glenn Barton bringing you all the action. Support from Matty Anderson, doing a good job in the background, producing what you're listening to here on Radio Mama. In the ball goes now, players setting themselves, up they go. Mullewa will get the best of it, or do they? The fall of the ball, no one can get a piece of the action. Goes away now on this player, he just snatches it away, and that's Tom Denton. He sends it further afield, but blazing didn't work. It goes straight down the throat of an opponent. In the middle of the ground now, the ball is with Calvin Wall. Wall spins around on a 50-cent piece, sends it down to a player who is all on his lonesome somewhat, a Kristen Paper Talk. He goes further afield again. Mullewa racking up marks and kicks, but are curtailed as they get to the half-forward area, just inside the forward 50. A bit of a pack develops. Players pushing and shoving. The umpire is letting things go on just a little bit, but he's moved in to settle things up now, and there'll be a ball up just inside or just outside the forward 50 for the Saints.
Yeah, Mullewa, their work rate is much improved, but they're still not getting the score on the board. They need a couple of goals before half-time. Still plenty of time left in this contest. We've played 16 minutes in this second term, with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack. As Mullewa have the ball now, can they boot the ball through Gelby? Gelby shoots on goal, and he has missed. 1 point only on the Yalala scoreboard. Mullewa go to 2 goals 7, and they trail their opposition 7 goals 5. So 7-5 to 2-7. So 9 scoring shots to some 12 scoring shots in favour of Rovers.
Tommy going out of defence now. Spout gets the ball now. He puts it onto his boot, sends it down in front of our broadcast position. I've got a few players at the back as Kristen Paper Talk, but he's into the back of his opponent. A free kick will go the way of this player, and he is in front of the dugout for Mullewa. The Rovers player plays on now, down the wing. Players setting themselves, or are they? The ball will find space, or doesn't. It hits a player's arm, goes to ground. Players diving on top of it. A Rovers player comes in, is tackled high. The umpire is unseen. Or is he? Yes, he sees a free kick, and a free kick will go the way of the Rovers player, and that player is Jacob Troy. Jacob Troy played a few seasons with the Demons now. He sends it further afield. Not the best of kicks, though. It's going to be out on the full. And that just shows you, Glenn, that the breeze is definitely coming from a southeast direction.
As we go around the grounds, with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirrily War, the member for Geraldton, and we're into the second quarter in the game at GBSC Sports Park, and 29-22, Towns up at the moment over Brigade. So interesting scoreline as soon as we get a full-time score.
Picked up where they left off last week, the Bulldogs.
Yeah, so they're putting good pressure on. Ball thrown up now, goes the way of Rovers. In goes the Rovers hard-working player in Denham Ranger. He gives it over towards a teammate. That teammate is Kevin Sealander. He gets it up towards full forward, looking up there for the danger man and Farron Parfitt. But the ball is out of bounds, and the boundary umpire will come and throw the ball in about 10 metres around from the right point.
I think Mullewa will have the run of the green at the moment, rubber the green at the moment, Glenn. Can Rovers put a stop to that in the middle stages of this second term?
Yeah, heading on to, in fact, time on now in this second term, so maybe Mullewa are running out of time, but they need a score. But Rovers still putting the pressure on. Rovers quickly get boot the ball through. Tommy Denton goes straight up in the air and comes back towards Mullewa, goes away to Zach Papertalk. He feeds it out to Wall. Calvin Wall draws a player, gets it there looking for a player with the ball in Kasim Yida. He couldn't get rid of the ball. Rovers putting good pressure on. There's a lot of pressure on the Mullewa players at the moment. Umpire Claire Knight will come in and throw the ball up about 30 metres away from the goals at the southern end of Mullewa Oval.
Up it goes, as Glenn mentioned, just inside the forward 50. Mullewa will try and get it out of danger, but there's Denton. He's a danger man. Nice little chip kick inboard. Will he get a mark here? The player going back to take the mark couldn't. It goes to ground. Mullewa will come across the half-back line now and get it out of danger. Coming away now of this player in Bonnie. Bonnie sets it further afield and finds a player equal to the task at centre wing. So Mullewa, as Glenn said, in the time-on period of the second term, heading into half-time, can they get another score on the board to make things a little bit more equal here at Mullewa this afternoon? But under pressure now, the ball goes off a couple of players and over the boundary. About to be thrown in front of our broadcast position here. This quarter brought to you by Melissa Price, a member for Durack. Best seats in the house, as Glenn said, from the Mullewa Country Club. In they go now. Players setting themselves. Going to ground. Going through the middle now is this player in Woodley. Woodley doesn't find success, though. He loses possession. Going forward now is Rovers, but no one can get possession of the ball fully. There's a free kick is awarded going the way of Mullewa. Just outside the centre square. They go laterally now. A clever kick to get it out of the danger zone. Go further afield, do Mullewa. Time might be running out, though, as Glenn indicated. The ball going back the way now of this player in Cassius Wall. Wall puts it onto his boot into the full forward line, but there he is again. He takes a good mark, does Jamie Geyer. He doesn't let his side down once again.
So he relieves the pressure, goes out wide, so Rovers can run the ball through Sealander. Sealander grabs it, kicks it up towards half forward, refines Sheldon Nelly. Nelly from 55, kicks towards full forward. Out goes the Mullewa defence. Can they put a handle on it? No, they can't. Rovers fighting hard through Curtis. Umpire says, get it out, and eventually they don't, so she has to come in and throw the ball up. So that's what's happening here at Mullewa this afternoon as we see the ball thrown up. Ball comes the way of Rovers through Farron Parfitt, and a whistle on play. He was out of bounds, perhaps. Boundary umpire will come in and throw the ball in.
He was throwing it on anyway, wasn't he? He would have known that.
Well, you play to the whistle.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. Peter, this is the first time I've seen the new grounds.
It makes a difference, doesn't it?
The new outskirts, the new fencing. Very good. So, yeah, it looks good. The new fencing on the Mullewa Oval, very, very impressive indeed. As we see the ball go forward, up towards Rovers, but Mullewa are there. Comes back towards Ryder for the Saints. He centres the ball, picks out a player in Justin Woodley. Woodley grabs the ball. He feeds it out to a teammate. Running with the ball now is the Mullewa player in Shane Bonney. Bonney turns around from 50 metres, kicks towards full forward, looking for Galby, but off hands, and the Rovers defender did well. Kobe Bursell slapped the ball over the goal line, and a minus score result. So we're into time on in this term, this second term, with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack. And it is Mullewa 2-7, and we see that Rovers 7 goals, 6.
Both Geyer and Kobe Bursell have held the end up for Rovers, that's for sure, in this term. Jacob Troy has certainly done his bit as he puts it onto his boot, sends it the way of Nelly. Nelly under pressure. Ball ricochets off his chest and over the boundary. The ball about to be thrown in now. Time ticking away in this the first half. In our Drennan O'Malley game day. Mullewa. They've only scored a goal, I think, then in this term. As the ball comes in now, players setting themselves. In it comes, goes to ground. No one can get possession. Knocked down by Teswell, but Mullewa will do the better of it. They send it forward again, but through comes Jamie Guy. He fists it away, but only as far as his opponent, who sends it forward in Justin Woodley. Nice big kick by Woodley. The mark is taken by Gelby now. Right on the siren. Gelby will have a shot on goal. So this is an interesting scenario for Mullewa. Should he get this, they'll go into half-time with their tails up. If he doesn't, they really have almost a mountain to climb, one would think, with Rovers having a reasonable breeze at their back going into the third term. So Gelby coming in now, kicking toward the town end or the northern end of Mullewa Oval. He knows what he's doing. Looks okay off the boot. It's straight through the middle. That's an important goal for Mullewa, and it's straight through the middle. And at half-time here at Mullewa, we see that the Saints have gone to 3 goals 8. They travel Rovers 7 goals 5, and you're listening to Radio Mama. We are the home of GNFL football.
Today's Drennan O'Malley Motors Game Day is brought to you by our great sponsors, the City of Greater Geraldton, working with sporting groups and families to make our lifestyle even better. Stay tuned to the home of GNFL football, Radio Mama.
Today's Drenno Valley Motors Game Day is brought to you by our great sponsors, the team at Drenno Valley Motors. Make sure you make them your first choice for your second-hand cars. Stay tuned to the home of GNFL football, Radio Mama.
And a very good afternoon. Half-time of football, Radio Mama, your home of GNFL footy for Drenno O'Malley Motors, Glenn Barnden and Peter Forenza calling all the action this afternoon. Pretty entertaining game of footy in that last quarter, the second quarter. Mullewa kicked 2 goals, 5, probably kicked themselves out of it. If they had to kick 5 goals too, it could be a different story. Rovers kicked 1 goal, 2 in the second quarter, and at half-time it is Rovers 7-5-47. The lead Mullewa 3-8-26, a 21-point margin in favour of Rovers, who led by 30 points at a quarter time. Our half-time summaries with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirrily War, the member for Geraldton. Looking at the goal scorers for Rovers, Farron Parfitt has kicked 4. Clayton Parfitt, Sheldon Nelly and Tom Denton 1 apiece. For Mullewa, Leon Gelby has kicked 2. Christopher Ryder has kicked 1. And looking at the contenders of the Skeeters Restaurant Player of the Day, Peter, you're looking after the Rovers' better players. And who did you like in the first half?
I think surely Brennan's consistent for that entire half, and he never gives up, does the little general. Kobe Bursell in defence has been exceptional. Jamie Guy also has been and had to work overtime, especially in that quarter. Sheldon Nelly also chipping in there as one of the better players.
Looking at better players for the Mullewa side, I thought Kristen Papertalk doing well. Young Leadham Papertalk working hard. His dad, Leadham Senior, did well in that quarter. Greg Gelby, a couple of good kicks forward. Leon Gelby with the 2 goals, and Justin Woodley doing okay. So that's the story here out at Mullewa. We've got a 21-point margin in favour of Rovers as Rovers chase their very first.
Mullewa back out. Rovers yet to come back out on the track. So taking a little while in the change rooms. Coaches giving their final instructions a little bit longer than expected. There they come now.
As we go around the grounds with the thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirrily War, the member for Geraldton. The game being played out at Nabwa at Bazzakelly Oval, that concluded earlier. It got underway at 1 o'clock today, and it's all over. Chapman Valley got the premiership points there. Chapman Valley 12 goals, 13-85. And they...
and then why was that game played earlier today?
Because Northampton forfeited the women, and they decided. Okay. So they've got a big afternoon of celebrating on the balcony. So Northampton 2 goals, 6-18 was that score. Half-time at GBSC Sports Park, and a really tight game there. At half-time, Towns 4 goals, 6-30. Lead Brigades 3 goals, 5-23. So a lot of interest in that game, of course, because it's third playing fourth. It'll be interesting to see who is the third side. Is it Towns, perhaps? Maybe it is. Who knows?
Towns could be hitting their straps at the important part of the season, Glenn.
Yes, and they're playing good footy, as we are well aware.
Steadily building.
We're underway in this third quarter as umpire Paul Luxon holds the ball aloft in this third term with thanks to Drenno O'Malley Motors from Mullewa Oval this afternoon. Goes the way of Rovers, and Kevin Sealander is that player, but it's picked up by Clayton Parfitt now, and we see that Rovers are going to the northern end of the ground. Ball comes back to a Rovers player there, and Ray Taylor, ball held to him, and umpire Luxon will come in and throw the ball up once.
Pretty cold conditions out here at Mullewa, Glen. A bit of a chill in the air. The breeze still coming from a the southeasterly direction, I should say, favouring that northern end by, I reckon it might be about 2 to 3 goals.
The big fellas go at it, and Tazewell gets the best of it for Rovers. Goes the way of the big Mullewa defender, gets rid of the ball. Ball goes the way of Rovers. Jake Criddle, ball spills, comes the way of Ryder. Ryder kicks it up towards half forward, finds a teammate. That teammate in Anthony Hayden feeds it out to a hard-running player, and Mullewa have an opportunity now through Gelby, and Gelby has the ball 25 metres out, directly in front, and Leon has kicked 2, and this will be a very important kick. It'll bring Mullewa back into contention. As I mentioned in that last quarter, they kicked 2 goals, 5. They're a little bit inaccurate, but if they get that accuracy working and they keep going forward as they did in the second quarter, there goes the kick from Gelby. Is offline, so the Mullewa scoreboard for Yalella rolls over to 3 goals, 9, and 3-9 plays 7-5, and an interesting scoreline. So 20 points the margin here in the first couple of minutes of this third term, the premiership quarter for Drenno O'Malley Motors.
They was led by 30 points at quarter time, 21 points at half time. Bit of a purple patch in the last 10 minutes of the first term. Saw them pile on, I think about 4 or 5 goals in succession. which has given them a bit of a buffer here this afternoon, but things have been pretty even other than that. Can they continue to add to their lead, the Demons, as it goes away at Parfitt now in the back line? He gets it away to a teammate there. He puts it onto his boot. Sealander into the half-forward area, looking for a player in alone. He won't let the ball bounce too far. He goes on, drops on top of the ball and is tackled in possession. A bit lazy by alone on that occasion. The ball coming out of defence now. Goes away of Mullewa, and that is Paper Talk. He changes his mind and changes direction, losing possession, but it's juggled around by Sean Brennan, who loses possession to his opponent, going back the way now of Paper Talk. He gives it to a teammate who shoots on goal, and again, unsuccessful. And luckily enough for Rovers, they are. Mullewa taking every opportunity at the moment, with Anthony Hayden shooting on goal and only allowing it to go through for the point. So Rovers under siege somewhat now. They've slowed down a little as it goes away of Kobe Bursell. A bit nervous about being in front. They haven't been in this position all season as the ball goes further afield out to Sealander on the far side. He gets a nice handball to Brennan. Brennan getting a bit sort of sticky with his mitts at the moment, but he's able to collect it again. Sends it inboard. Rovers can set something up here as they go further afield into space. The kick isn't good off that Rovers custodian. Loses direction. Goes into the middle of the ground. Mullewa will do the better as they send it out toward our broadcast position. It goes away at Bonnie. Bonnie steadies the ship somewhat. He sends it down the wing in front of our broadcast position. Goes away now. That player in Paper Talk. That's Zach Paper Talk. He goes one way then the other. Then puts it onto his boot into space. They go forward again to Mullewa. They're unrelenting in this early stage of the third term, but Rovers working overtime. Will they be able to keep it up? Not a good kick then by that player in Guy, but he gets it to a teammate in Parfitt. Back to Guy, coming down the middle of the ground. Needs some support up the field though, as he goes away of Sealander, who takes a mark, or does he, in the middle of the ground. I thought there was a bit of dirt in that one, and the umpire agreed, and he'll ball it up almost in the middle of the ground.
Yeah, centre throw up. The ball goes the way of Rovers. They win it to ground. Mullewa relentless in the forward line from Kristen Papertalk. Kicks it towards centre half forward. Ball bounces awkwardly for Mullewa, but they go back in to retrieve it through Tristan Taylor. He gets it up towards the centre half forward. Goes the way of Gelby. Gelby claimed the mark. Umpire said no, you didn't hold it.
Unlucky for
him. The ball comes back, and Rovers can clear now through Jacob Troy. Jacob Troy goes out wide and finds Brennan on the outer side. So 7-5 plays 3-9. So 12 scoring shots apiece, but still a pretty comfortable lead to Rovers. Rovers have the ball now through Denton. He goes up the ground, picks out Curtis. Curtis on centre wing. Kicks the ball short, gives Jamin Alone the opportunity to run onto it. Alone puts it on by hand to Brennan. Brennan gets a kick up towards half forward, but Mullewa in best position. Ball comes over the back, but Rovers do well. Handball goes the way there, and once again, Rovers go forward. Goes the way of Tazewell from 50 metres. Big kick up towards full forward. Ball running free. Picked up now by the Rovers player who soccers it forward, and he goes back in on it. Umpire gave him the benefit of the doubt. The ball comes back out, and the ball goes out of bounds, so it'll be a boundary throw-in about 30 metres around from the left point post at the Mullewa end of the ground, the Mullewa town end, the northern end.
Yeah, but a comedy of errors from the Demons there. They should have done something with that passage of play. The ball coming in now to the half-forward area. Umpire throws it in play, setting themselves. Mullewa do the better. Goes the way of Bonnie. Gets it out into space. Mullewa away through Paper Talk now. Onto his boot, but only as far as Tazewell. Tazewell doesn't take the mark. The ball goes to ground. He smothers it. The ball spills free now. No one can get their mitts on it. All possession at all. Goes away of Kobe Bursell, who's come down the ground to sort things out. Goes away of a teammate there in Tazewell. He misses what he should have picked up. The ball's into space now. Mullewa, they do the better through the agency of Hayden. Hayden sends it inside the corridor. Is there someone to pick it up? No, goes away of Rovers now. Rovers do well in the middle of the ground. A player is quickly set up on. A good tackle is put on that player in Jacob Troy. He's quickly brought to ground. A free kick will go the way of Mullewa.
Paper Talk quays on quickly, gives it to the player in Ryder. Ryder kicks it towards full forward, looking for Gelby. Gelby under pressure sees the ball across the boundary line. There'll be a boundary throw in the right forward.
Mullewa playing a little bit more desperate at the moment, Glenn.
Yeah, they're playing with good desperation. We saw them in the second quarter. They kicked 2 goals, 5. This quarter they've added another 1 behind, and they need to get some accuracy around goal. Boundary umpire to put the ball back into play. It's in Mullewa's danger zone. Mullewa will get another goal, and they'll believe in themselves if they can get a goal in the early stages of this third term, the premiership quarter. But the ball falls the way of Jacob Troy for Rovers. He goes out wide, looking for Sean Brennan. Brennan goes back in, does well, got the ball on a stretch, runs backwards, then he goes forward, kicked on a good one, picks out Leadham Paper Talk to his dad, Leadham Senior. Leadham Senior brings it up the ground, and he's picked out a teammate, and Mullewa shooting on goal from 20 metres out on a 45-degree angle. So an important kick. This will narrow the margin. Very important kick.
So a few opportunities up until this point, Galby, hasn't he?
He has. Kamal Papertalk shoots on goal, and he puts it through for a goal, and that's Mullewa's fourth. On the Yalala scoreboard, Mullewa will go to 4 goals, 9. They trail Rovers 7-5. So, yes, a lot of opportunities for Mullewa. They haven't had the accuracy, but Kamal Papertalk getting that all-important goal. That's the first goal of the term, and an important kick it was. And we've played 6 minutes in this third term, with thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors.
At the moment, Rovers are just reacting, not being proactive, and coaches, I should say, and both the Smith boys will be hoping that they can get back in control this afternoon. But at the moment, Mullewa holds sway somewhat in the early stages of the third term. They've made the scoreboard look a little bit more respectable in the Saints' favour as the ball goes up again now, and the Rovers have it through Parfitt. He's gone into the middle, so too Tazewell, but he doesn't know what to do with it. He's caught up by a couple of players. The umpire says, "You were holding the ball, my friend." He didn't know what to do with it. There was no one there giving him a hand as the ball goes away with Mullewa now. And there's Bonnie. Bonnie's been pretty good this afternoon. He's been picking up kicks left, right and centre. Nice mark is taken by Bursell once again in defence. He's been saving grace for the Demons at times this afternoon as he goes wide to Brennan. Now, Brennan's decision-making is what lets him down, and he did okay on this occasion, going wide instead of inboard, and he finds Denton. Couldn't be safer hands than Denton at the moment. Spoke to us on Footy Forum today, I should say, on Sportshed Saturday, about his trip to the United States to see his mate Alex Dukas play in the NBA final, or he didn't actually play, Alex, but he was part of it. The Oklahoma Thunder, the ball coming inboard now in the half-forward area for Rovers. They're struggling to play how they did in the first term, with Mullewa defence just taking up the gaps or making sure they fill up the gaps as it goes away now of Leadham Papertalk straight down the middle of the ground. He finds a teammate who's equal to the task. They come further afield now. Mullewa looking good. As the ball spills free, goes away of Greg Galby now. He shoots on goal, but it's going to go a little bit wide to one side and through, luckily for Rovers, for the minus score. So the Demons are under siege. Can they answer the challenge?
Yeah, Mullewa have added some 8 points since quarter time. They need to get a bit more accuracy, but they're moving the ball. That's all you can ask. And maybe they'll get some accuracy shortly. Jacob Troy with the ball in defence for Rovers. As we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton, Kirrily War, the member for Geraldton, as Rovers work the ball out of defence. And with 9 minutes into the third quarter at GBSC Sports Park, and it's 30 points apiece. Brigades 4-6, Towns 4-8, so 2 points in favour of Towns as that game
Sealander sends it into the half-forward area. Can Brennan do something with the bounce here? He goes one way then the other, gets it back to a teammate there in Sealander into space. Rovers can do something here now as it goes back the way. Their decision-making is letting them down at the moment. They should have gone forward when they've gone back, but through comes that player now in Denton. He sends it into space, looking for support in there, but he just blazed away. A host of Mullewa players in the corridor, they collected, they send it further afield, and on the wing a nice mark is taken by Galby. Yeah, it's Greg Galby. He sends it inboard and almost all on his lonesome. A mark is taken, but that play went up a little bit too early. Luckily, in defence for Rovers, someone was there, but they get beaten. Advantage rule is paid as Mullewa run away to an open goal, and Kamal Papertalk scores another one for Mullewa and narrows the gap yet again.
Yeah, very important kick. So Kamal gets his second of the quarter as we look at the goal scorers until the early stages of this third term. For Rovers, Farron Parfitt has kicked 4 and singles are Clayton Parfitt, Sheldon Nelly and Tom Denton. Goal scorers for Mullewa, Kamal Papertalk has kicked the last 2 of the game. Leon Gelby's kicked 2 and Christopher Ryder has kicked 1. So the scoreboard starting to tighten up quite considerably.
Farron Parfitt's getting a bit cold in the forward line, Glenn.
Yeah, 16 scoring shots in favour, 16 scoring shots for Mullewa, and we have 12 scoring shots for Rovers. So 51 plays 47. So it's quite quickly tied up. Yeah, very tight game here out at Mullewa. Rovers get the best of it out of the centre. Goes the way of Tommy Denton. Goes out wide to the hard-running Brennan. As Peter mentioned, he never stops running, the young man. Kicks it forward, looking there for Perrin Parfitt near the boundary line. And the Mullewa defenders are pretty pleased to see him go out of bounds. And the ball will be brought back in from the boundary umpire about 20 metres around from the right point post. So this is one of the few times Rovers have had the ball up there in this quarter. So the ball will be thrown back in.
And they technically have the breeze at their back.
Yeah, so Mullewa will have the breeze at their back in the last quarter as long as they can keep close enough to the side that is Rovers. Ball comes out, goes the way of Clayton Parfitt. He won't miss from there. That one. And Clayton Parfitt gets the first goal for some time for Rovers, because we've seen Mullewa kicked 4 of the last 5 goals kicked, but a good goal there, and a good goal from Clayton Parfitt. He gets his second of the afternoon, and as Peter mentioned, there was no doubt that Rovers needed that one to take a bit of pressure off, and they got it, and Clayton Parfitt, a very important goal, so the margin stretches out again to 10 points on the scoreboard here for Yalala. And looking at the scoreboard, it is 8 goals to 5 goals. So 5-11 to 8-5 in favour of the Demons.
Drennan O'Malley Motors bringing you this the third term, thanks to Ron, John, Rachel and all of the team at Drennan O'Malley Motors, and they'll be listening into our broadcast this afternoon. Ball back in the middle, Rovers steadying the ship somewhat. Can they get another in succession? But Mullewa have other ideas as it comes out of the middle, goes away of the Saints into the half-forward area. A mark here will be timely for the Mullewa side as they try and soccer it toward the goals. A player diving on top of it. Mullewa players are there, but they push relentlessly. But the Rovers defence working overtime. Jamie Geyer ensures that it goes over the line only for a point as he gets it down, goes further fielded. Bursell, both working well this afternoon. Glenn under pressure. They certainly are holding sway somewhat, taking a lot of the attack from Mullewa at times. As the ball goes back down, and Mullewa will throw it again. Rovers struggling to get it out as it goes away now. Jamin Malone. Now, Jamin Malone hasn't been as impacting as he could have been to this point. Can the big fella do something? Off his left boot, he sends it into the half-forward area. He was looking for a player to run onto it in Denton, but Denton wasn't good with the bounce then as the ball goes back the way of Mullewa, but a nice mark is taken on the half-back flank, and that mark is taken by Spout.
Spout gets it on, quickly finds another local boy in Criddle. Jake Criddle with the ball on centre wing. Criddle plays on, kicks it up towards half-forward for Rovers. The Rovers have an opportunity there through Taylor. Running hard for the ball is Jaden Wall, but Wall sees the ball across the boundary line, and there'll be a boundary throw-in on the half-forward flank for the Rovers side.
Jake Criddle, of course, the grandson of the great Jeff Criddle, and of course the cousin of McVie, who of course is Judd McVie, playing for the Melbourne Demons.
Boundary umpire puts the ball back into play. Northampton lost today to Chapman Valley. Interesting game still happening at GBSC. Interesting game here at Mullewa as Leadham Papertalk grabs the ball, kicks it up towards half forward. Walsh misses the ball, but goes back in, retrieves it beautifully, kicks it up towards full forward, looking there for Gelby. Off hands, read beautifully, goes the way of Tristan Taylor, and Tristan Taylor gets another goal on the board for the Mullewa.
Beautifully roved off the pack there.
Yeah, read it well. So Tristan Taylor gets another very important goal, and the scoreboard keeps rolling over, and it's getting a very tight game once again. So we see the ball coming back in. The boundary umpire has come and got the relief ball. The ball's gone over the paddock, into the back paddock, so the kids will go back and hopefully retrieve it and bring the ball back, hopefully. Mullewa, 6-12, and they are up against the opposition, 8-5, so we've got 12 scoring shots to 18, so it's a nice tight game now. So there's a 5-point ball game in favour of the Rovers side.
Rovers need to slow things down, Glenn, because they don't actually have the run of the Mullewa side, but they certainly have the skills they can work to, and they need to start dictating terms because Mullewa are certainly on top at the moment.
Yeah, Mullewa getting a little bit of composure, and their run out has been good since the first quarter, where we saw a 30-point margin. Rovers kicked 6 goals in the first quarter. Ball comes the way now of the player there in alone. He gets it out to a teammate. Getting the ball forward is Denton. 2 big names into the Rovers line-up this afternoon. Whistle on play. Free kick's been picked out. It'll go the way of Mullewa. Mullewa defender gets the resultant free kick.
Rovers desperate to get another score on the board.
Ball goes by hand to Wall. Kelvin Wall, the veteran, gets it up looking for Leadham Paper Talk. He's a very talented young player, very exciting. Paper Talk takes them on, he gets tackled. Umpire said you're caught in possession. And the ball goes the way of Denton. Tom Denton gets the free kick. Gets a short pass up towards full forward, looking there for the player. Ball bounces away from him, goes towards the boundary line. Ball goes out of play. Time ticking by in this third term, the Premiership quarter, and of course the Drill and O'Malley Motors quarter. And we've played 16 minutes in this third term, so there's still plenty of time to play. And as Peter mentioned, we need to see Rovers get a score on the board while they have it up that end. The ball comes back to a Rovers player, throws it on his boot, kicks it towards full forward. Farron Parfitt in good position, so too is his teammate. And a good mark taken there by Clay Azevedo.
Yeah, Clay Azevedo should have taken the mark a little bit earlier on. He was almost telegraphed a kick from Denton, and it bounced off his chest, and now he's got a shot on goal to make amends.
So Clay Azevedo, we sing his praises every time we see him play. He's a very talented young man. He's 30 metres out, kicking towards the city end, and he can spread the margin to 11 points if he kicks a goal. There goes the kick. Looks pretty good off the boot. Goal umpire signals 1 point. So it's a 6-point ball game on the Yalala scoreboard. So Mullewa remain on 6-12, and we see Rovers go to 8-6. So we've got a 6-point ball game here at Mullewa in our match of the day, and it has proved to be that. A really good contest here, as we saw Rovers get away to a good start, and we've seen Mullewa working their way back into the contest. Ball comes up the ground, goes the way of Rovers now. Good mark taken by their ruckman in Tazewell. Blake Tazewell kicks it up towards half forward, goes the way of Farron Parfitt. He does well, breaks a tackle, gets a handball to a teammate. That teammate is Azevedo, and Azevedo runs into an open goal, and he gets his first.
3 opportunities for Azevedo, and he puts it away.
He got that one, and Azevedo gets the goal on the board, and the scoreboard rolls over for Rovers. They needed that one. Under pressure, Rovers are 8-6. They lead Mullewa 6-12, and you're tuned to Radio Mummy, your home of GNFL footy. So we see 18 scoring shots to 15 in favour of Mullewa, but they haven't had the accuracy or the efficiency around goal, and they still trail.
Trent O'Malley Motors bringing you this third term, or what a term it is. The challenge has been thrown up to the Demons, and maybe they are answering the challenge right now. That goal from Azevedo was an important one for the Red and Blacks. So the ball back in the middle now, and this game, Trent O'Malley Game Day. Peter Forenza and Glenn Barton bringing you all the action from Mullewa, and we're enjoying it. It is certainly a tough encounter, a fast, hard and tough encounter here at Mullewa this afternoon. Ball back in the middle with umpire Luxton. Let's see if Rovers can continue, or Mullewa can curtail Rovers' mini surge forward. Up they go now, goes away of a line, he takes them all on, and so he can. He's like a Sherman tank in there, Glenn. The ball comes back now. They said no opportunity for the big fella, and about the 6 of them on his back. So the ball comes out of the pack now. Mullewa, do they do the better? No. There's again a line working well to curtail efforts of Mullewa, but a free kick has gone the way now of him because he was held without the ball. He sees the lead on the outer side, and it's young Brennan, but Brennan didn't know that it was coming. He had to run in and get it. He has 2 bites of the cherry. He's tackled. He's taken off the ball like a rag doll on that occasion. Going back the way of Mullewa now. They come inboard. They can set something up here as it goes away of Bonnie. Bonnie certainly knows how to find space, and he's found it again. Shane Bonnie, the Clune medalist, into the half-forward area he goes. Players setting themselves. JB goes knocked out just when he was going to take the mark. Mullewa can run on here. In defence goes Bursell, and he does it very cleverly and takes it over the back line. He's been Rovers' best player today, Glenn.
Yes, he's been very, very good indeed, as have some of the other defenders. I think the defenders at both ends have probably held sway. Important period of the game. We're into time on in this third term, and Mullewa need a goal late, and if they can, they have it in their forward 50, they can do well. But Rovers rebound, they have it up along the centre wing, goes the way of Kevin Sealander. Sealander takes one bounce now, feeds a handball back towards Taylor. Taylor goes forward now, big kick up towards half forward, looking there for Curtis. Ball slapped away from him. Well done by the Mullewa youngster and Keegan Simpson. He gets the ball up the centre of the ground, picks out a teammate. That teammate is Jesse Phillips. Jesse Phillips quickly gets the ball to boot, and he's picked out his teammate, and that is young Justin Woodley. Woodley kicks it up, looking there for Gelby. Gelby's a clever player. He's got 2 to beat. Beats them. Goes by hand. Gets it away to Tristan Taylor. Taylor kicks it deep in towards the forward pocket, but nobody there for Mullewa, and the Rovers defence can clear the day, and I think it's young Jake Criddle with the ball.
It certainly is. Jake Criddle took a timely mark in defence for the Demons. He sends it further afield. Up goes Tazewell, the tallest man there, and takes the mark. Doesn't get on the first attempt, but gets it on the second. He's turning into a very talented mobile ruckman is Tazewell. He'll be going to country week, one would think. The ball down the ground, but we don't know, Glenn. We don't know what the squad is, as the ball comes off hands now, off the Rovers' mitts and over the wide line. So a free kick, it's out on the full, so a free kick going the way of Mullewa. And the player with it is Tristan Papertalk, clean medalist. Yeah, there's clean medalists everywhere. Shaking the jewellery around today, Glenn, as the ball goes further afield now, going back the way of this player and Justin Woodley. He sends it inboard. Is a mark taken by Mullewa? No, it's not. It is Rovers who take another timely mark. Rovers' defence has certainly stood up, but Glenn, as you said, defences of both teams have been admirable so far this afternoon. There's Denton. He goes one way then the other. Is tackled without the ball, but the umpire says caught in possession. He threw it that way, and a free kick will go the way of Mullewa. So Mullewa, as we near the three-quarter time break, Justin Woodley has the ball. He sends it inboard now. It's a kick inside the corridor. The bounce isn't kind to anyone, but there he is. Straight through the middle of the Sherman tank. I'm talking about Jamin alone. He gets it to a teammate on the outer side. Running onto it is that player in Brennan. They've been teamed up a little bit today of Brennan and Alone, and Brennan kicks it into space. He really blazed away on that occasion. No one was there. Mullewa will do the better for the bounce on that occasion. The ball comes in now, but they too are struggling to get some momentum. They go backward before they come forward. The ball comes off the boot of Papertalk and finds Papertalk. So in the middle of the ground, in fact, it is Bonnie. So Bonnie now has got a bit of space. He always finds space, and he'll find it again as he finds this player in Tristan Papertalk. Tristan Papertalk into the half-forward area he goes. Rovers spoil the show, though, on the half-back line. A player quickly brought to ground. Mullewa will have the momentum as they move forward now. What can they do? Going the way now of Papertalk as he shoots on goal. As the siren sounds to announce that it's three-quarter time, they get another point to Mullewa, and things are really getting interesting here in Ardrennan on another game day. It is a Mullewa 6 goals 11. Up against Rovers, who have the lead 9 goals 6, and you're listening to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.
Our Adrenaline Mullewa Motors GNFL Game Day is brought to you by our member for Geraldton, Kerry Lee War, on Radio Mama.
Adrian O'Malley Motors Game Day is brought to you by our great sponsor GT Russell Chartered Accountants and Business Advisors, helping your business work for you today and tomorrow. Stay tuned to the home of GNFL football, Radio Mama.
And a very good afternoon. Welcome back. 3 to the time at the football, Radio Mama, your home of GNFL footy. Our Adrian O'Malley Motors Game Day with Glenn Barnon and Peter Forenza. 3/4 time at the football here at Mullewa. And Mullewa have the work to do. They trail by 11 points in the last quarter, heading in towards it. And Rovers at the moment are 9 goals, 660. They lead Mullewa 6 goals, 13-49. So looking at the goal scorers for Rovers, 4 goals to Farron Parfitt, 2 to Clayton Parfitt, singles to Sheldon Nelly, Tom Denton and Clay Azevedo. Goal scorers for Mullewa, Kamal Papertalk has 2, Leon Gelby has 2, and singles to Christopher Ryder and also Tristan Taylor. Umpire Claire Knights gets this game underway again in this final term with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants. The ball comes out. Mullewa, can they get back into this contest? They've had plenty of opportunities. They've had plenty of ball. Just haven't been efficient around goal. A Mullewa player caught in possession there. And once again, a good bit of play from the Mullewa player there in Dwayne Neville. Put a good tackle on. Dwayne Neville, good pressure. Dwayne Neville plays on now, kicks it up towards half forward. Not a very pretty kick.
Yeah, it was effective.
But pretty efficient, as Peter mentioned. Goes away with Clayton Parfitt. He gives it away to a teammate. And Rovers are shooting on goal very, very quickly. Only took a minute of this final term for them to get it.
I reckon I would have left the ball with Clayton for this shot on goal. I don't know about this young fella.
So we'll see how he goes. He's a
Denham Ranger.
Usually a pretty
former Towns player.
Yeah, he is. That's right. Exactly. So he can play. And he has an opportunity now to perhaps get it towards goal. Mullewa player throws his hands up. Umpire says no, it was through for a goal. And that is a goal. And on the scoreboard for Yalala, a very important kick it was for Rovers. And well done to the young man there in Denham Ranger. And the score, Rovers are 10 goals, 666. They lead Mullewa 6 goals, 13-49. As we quickly go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirralie War, the member for Geraldton. And looking at the 3/4 time score at GBSC Sports Park, really tight game there. Towns lead by 3 points. Towns 5-11-41. Lead Brigades 5-8-38. And the other game played out at Mazzucchelli Oval has concluded. Chapman Valley 12-13-85 have defeated Northampton 2 goals, 6-18.
Bursell, Gaia, Brennan, Alone and Tazwell were better for mine in the third term. Glenn for Rovers. Who'd you like for Mullewa?
Yeah, Kristen Papertalk continues to play well. Leadham Papertalk, junior and senior. Kelvin Wall, Greg Gelby, Justin Woodley and Leon Gelby also trying up forward.
As Mullewa come out of the middle of the ground now and trying to set something up after the last goal was scored by Rovers to open the final term. The Gerald Hotel, Bob's Bar, is a place to go late evenings for a nice drink. A good gin bar is Bob's Bar, and also you can go to the Old Man and the Sea and get a nice meal and spend time with friends. Great venue, the Gerald Hotel. The ball coming out of defence now. Jamie Guy, he's been good this afternoon. He gets it into space, comes off hands and spills over the boundary once again. This quarter brought to you by GT Russell Chartered Accountants. Grant getting things ready for tax time, Glenn. A busy time for him this time of the year.
Yes, and it's come around rather quickly. So of course
it has, hasn't it?
Yeah, the financial year ends on Monday. So all those people needing to do things in that regard need to get to busy very, very quickly. Not many days left. Ball comes the way of Rovers now, and Rovers' defence can release the pressure through Bursell. He goes back, kicks the ball up along the boundary line, looking up here for Taylor.
Nice lead.
Finds that player. Taylor couldn't put a handle on it. Ball comes back, goes the way of another Rovers youngster. Working hard there. Patterson Spout comes back towards Taylor. He gets the ball forward, looking up the ground. A good solid mark taken by the Rovers player. And the Rovers have the ball there. And Rovers can get the ball up along centre wing. Goes the way of Clayton Parfitt. Clayton Parfitt can relieve the pressure.
Parfitt can still make things happen, and he has. He helped set up the last goal for the Demons. A much-needed goal as they send it in the inboard now. Azevedo coming out to take the mark, wouldn't do so. The ball goes away with his opposite number. Away they go now on the outer side through Greg Gelby, do Mullewa. Got some run on too as they run around the boundary, back into the middle now, and straight down the corridor, and a beautiful passage of play, and finds the chest of the Mullewa player there in Walsh. Walsh decides to shoot on goal. It's not a bad kick from Walsh. Will make the distance. No, it drops a little bit short, but goes away now a player who shoots on goal with abandonment, you should say, and what better person to do that than Christopher Ryder, but on this occasion only going through for the minor score.
So margin narrows to 16 points on the Yalala scoreboard as Rovers get the ball out. Not a very accurate kick, but it keeps the ball moving. They go back now through Guy. He gets across the ground, picks out a teammate. That teammate plays on quickly, gets the ball up the ground, and the ball comes back in. And the ball is now with the Rovers player. Number 14 grabs the ball, kicks it up the ground, looking up there for a teammate in Farron Parfitt. He cleverly slaps it back. In goes Mullewa. They're outnumbered. Mullewa will get a handball backwards to Kelvin Wall. Kelvin Wall goes through traffic, gives it to Zach Papertalk. Papertalk plays on now. There's an opportunity now for the Mullewa Saints. Ball in the centre of the ground, goes with a short pass, finds Kristen Papertalk. Kristen Papertalk on half forward. Gets a short pass, looking there for a teammate. Ball slapped away from him. Goes the way of Shane Bonney. The veteran
tackle.
gets a handball away just in the nick of time. In goes Tommy Denton for Rovers. Coming back to his side today, along with Jamin Alone, to give them a few extra legs and run. Ball goes the way of Curtis for Rovers. The Rovers player's tackled. Umpire says play on. Goes the way of
Jamin Alone goals.
He's kicked it from 55 metres.
Almost 60. It's
Yeah.
a great kick on the run.
And the ball bounces through. So a very good kick there from Jamin Alone.
He's done that before today, hasn't he?
He has. So Jamin Alone gets his first of the afternoon, but his work rate has been very good, particularly since half-time when Rovers have needed him to lift, and he's been able to get the score
Christopher
on the board.
Chalker, eat your heart out.
Yeah, good effort there from Jamin Alone. And a much-needed goal, so the margin now stretches out again to 21 points. And
Rovers have regained their mojo, Glenn. I wonder how that happened.
Yes, so they have been able to keep the pressure on and get the job done.
They had a bit of a lull there in the middle of the game, but have certainly returned with a vengeance in this term.
Yes, so 20 scoring shots to Mullewa, 17 scoring shots to the Mullewa side, to the Rovers side, but they still lead quite comfortably on the scoreboard. Very effective around goal, especially when you can kick a goal from 60 metres and it bounces through, so well done. Rovers get the ball forward again, this time from Tazewell, gets it forward, but now Mullewa need to get rid of the ball quickly before they overuse the ball. Goes the way now of Keegan Simpson. He kicks it up towards the centre of the ground, but once again we have the Rovers player who stands his ground. Rovers could get the ball forward through Alone. This
He
time
might get another one.
50 metres out, shoots towards full forward, but off hands, and the ball goes out of bounds, and there'll be another boundary throw-in. So we quickly look and recap the scores from other games, and at GBSC Sports Park, we can tell you it's a 3-point ball game in favour of Towns at three-quarter time. 5-11 plays 5-8.
Ball into space now goes way of Mullewa. They are under siege at the moment. Rovers doing everything right in the early stages of the final term. Going the way of Brennan. He's been good today amongst the better players, and he's going to get a free kick as young Brennan. Odds against him. The umpire said, going back the way of the Mullewa custodian there in Simpson. Keegan Simpson sends it further afield, finds Gelby. Gelby sends it inboard now. He's looking for support and finds Papertalk. Tristan Papertalk plays on now, comes laterally out and finds Anthony Hayden. Hayden can set something up as he shoots on goal, and the goal square up they go, and a nice mark, a beautiful mark right on the last line of defence is taken by the Mullewa player. The umpire is waiting. He might have stepped over the line. There's a bit of a talk here. Yes,
it's a goal.
It's a goal. It's gone through for a goal. So Mullewa have scored a very much needed goal here in the final term.
So a good goal. Do we know who kicked that one? Anthony
Hayden. Yes, it was a nice big kick from Hayden.
Beautiful, a good kick from a long way out, wasn't it? So well done to him. And Anthony Hayden getting his first goal of the...
And just when you thought Rovers were getting traction, Mullewa have pegged them back a little.
That's what you've got to like about Mullewa. They just keep coming. Doesn't matter what the standard of the game is or where they sit in the game. They just go back to the centre and they go forward again.
72 plays 56 on the scoreboard.
Yes, still a tight game. Jamin Alone kicked that all-important goal, and then Hayden reversed it. Ball comes back towards the player there. This time he turns the ball over. Does Alone, comes back towards Zach Papertalk. Get rid of it, Zach. He does so, just at the nick of time. Gives it away of Shane Bonney. Bonney kicks it up towards half forward. Ball running free. Gelby was there. He's asking the question. Ball comes back. Rovers try to slap it out. Comes back towards Mullewa. Picked up by Ryder. Ryder throws boot to ball, kicks it deep into the pocket, and the ball goes out of bounds. There'll be a boundary throw in deep in the left forward pocket. So interesting scoreline on the Yalala scoreboard. It is Rovers 11-6-72. They lead Mullewa 7-14-56.
30 points at quarter time, 21 points at half time. The Demons led again at three-quarter time by only 11 points. They have increased that lead, but Mullewa are holding on. The ball coming out of defence now from the Demons, right down the middle of the ground. It finds this player, and Brandon, he plays on now. In fact, it's Criddle. To the chest of Big Alone. Wearing number 10, the Sherman Tankers. I've called him. He puts it onto his boot. He sees a player on the lead. That player did pretty well on that occasion in Sealander. Rovers getting a bit of space now as Tazewell is running down the wing. Can he run onto the ball? Is it bouncing kind for him? He bounces just inside the white line. He sends it inboard, looking for a lead there. The lead was a little bit too early on that occasion from the player there in Sheldon Nelly. His opposite number outmarks him. He switches play to the outer side or back into the corridor. Down the middle it goes, and it finds another Mullewa chest. Mullewa seesawing affair a little now as the ball goes away of the Saints once again. But up goes Kobe Bursell. He fists it away. He has been best on ground for mine this afternoon, Glenn. He certainly is a player with a lot of smarts about him. Got the IQ, that's for sure. I said he was McGovern-esque. Well, maybe not McGovern, but he certainly plays at our level with a lot of IQ that you don't see a lot in some young footballers. As the ball goes to the far side, Stacks on the mill. I think the term was made last night by the commentator, Brayshaw, and he said they're in the sand pit. Did you like that one, Glenn?
Yes, well, they're talking about putting new turf on. The AFL have sent the Turf King to Sydney to sort the turf out because they weren't very happy with the way it was played. The ball goes the way now of Bonnie. Bonnie gets in the way of the player there who sues around. Walsh looking towards half forward. Once again, Mullewa got to fight hard to get the ball. Can they keep it in the forward 50? Goes the way of Ryder. Christopher Ryder throws boot to ball, but Rovers in best position. Goes over the back. Goes the way of Gelby. Gelby sockers boot to ball, but he's offline and he's hit the post. So a wasted opportunity there. Unlucky for Gelby and Mullewa. And on the scoreboard for Yalala, Mullewa go to 7-15. They trail Rovers 11-6.
Tazewell takes the mark, and the kick from Geyer is at a hard day at the office, that's for sure, for the Demons. He goes down the wing, comes off hands and spills over the boundary in front of the dugout for Mullewa. In fact, it's a dugout for Rovers. I apologise. The ball about to be thrown in. The Demons have a lead here this afternoon. 72 plays. Is it 57, Glenn? I can't read the score correctly. 57. Thank you, my friend. As I said, the pole is in the way of the score here out at Mullewa. The ball goes away now of Alone. He shirks off a tackle into the half-forward line. It goes away now of the player there in Parford who's tackled as he puts boots a ball, but alas, it only goes through for the minor score. So, end-to-end footy still in the dying stages, or I should say in the final analysis of the final term of this Drennan O'Malley game day. 73 plays 57 in favour of the Rovers side. The visitors, Rovers on target to get their first premiership points of the season as Leadham Papertalk Senior gets it to young Leadham Papertalk Junior. Leadham Papertalk breaks across the half forward, gets it out towards Kristen Papertalk. Mullewa shoot on goal from Papertalk. Looks pretty good off the boot. That's a goal.
And Mullewa just don't lay down here at Mullewa this afternoon. And on the Yalala scoreboard, Mullewa go to 8-15, 63. They trail the Rovers side 11-7, 73. So a real contest. We've played 10 minutes in this final term for GT Russell Chartered Accountants, and what a game it has been.
No, Rovers, yes.
Sides fighting the game out.
They certainly are.
A bit of a shootout here at Mullewa.
Rovers need to answer this challenge, that's for sure, because Mullewa certainly aren't lying down here this afternoon. They've trailed all day, but at the end, it's a score at the end that counts, and Rovers need to keep that in perspective. The ball back in the middle now. The last score by Mullewa was an important one. It has closed the gap to some 10 points here at Mullewa Oval this afternoon. Peter Forenza, Glenn Barnden bringing all the action in Drennan O'Malley game day. The ball going out of the middle. Alone does well. He puts it onto his boot, but there's no target. He just blazed away on that occasion, straight down the throat of Jaden Wall. Jaden Wall goes further afield out of the defensive circle for his side, finds a teammate equal to the task, and Mullewa are away on the far side. So Rovers need to start being more conscious of their kicks forward. Don't just blaze away because it won't happen for you. Mullewa will certainly make you pay as ball comes off hands and spills over the boundary on the far side where the recent rodeo took place here out Mullewa, Glen.
And a very successful rodeo it was too, a sellout crowd. Talking of successful sellout crowds, of course, Country Week Carnival is quickly coming up, and Radio Mama will be calling all the action Thursday and the Friday and the Saturday of the Country Week campaign, Division 1. So stay tuned to Radio Mama. You hear all the games with thanks to Radio Mama on Friday and Saturday of the Country Week Carnival, which is a week or two away now.
And you'll be able to hear that too, hopefully, on Radio Geraldton. Nice mark has taken by Bursell once again. He's been good this afternoon, saving grace for the Demons at times. The ball into the half-forward area. The bounce isn't kind for the Red and Blacks as the defence for Mullewa will do the better now. Straight down the middle of the ground. It comes out now. Goes the way of a Mullewa player there in Phillips. Phillips plays on now into the half-forward area. Players setting themselves. Here is Jamie Geyer. Comes in and does he save the day? He rolls over on top of the ball. The umpire lets him do that as the players dive on top of the young man. Not really that young. He's a bit older as far as Rovers go these days. A premiership player with the Demons. Maybe a couple of premierships under his belt at least. The ball coming out of that passage of play. It's going toward the boundary, but there comes Leadham Paper Talk Jr. who comes out of the pack, gives it to a teammate who shoots on goal.
That's
What's he done?
Important
it's
kick.
a very big goal, and it's by Justin Woodley. He scored a big goal just a moment ago, and he's done it again. And Justin Woodley has scored for Mullewa, and it is game on here at Mullewa this afternoon.
3 points is the margin on the Yalella scoreboard now, so
one would think
very
that
good kick.
Mullewa have their tails up, Glenn, so can Rovers answer this challenge because they've tried, they've come back in the early stages of this term, and one would think that they were doing enough, but they've slowed down somewhat, opened the gates, and Mullewa have just ran straight in.
And we always know that about Mullewa. You never give Mullewa a second chance, and that may be what Rovers have done. But as you say, it's been Rovers all day. They've led all day. They still lead by 4 points. On the Yalella scoreboard, it is Rovers 11-7, 73. 11-7, 73 to Mullewa 9-15, 69. So a 4-point ball game in favour of the visitors at the moment. Can they hang on? Umpire Forrester puts the ball into the air, one forward by Tazewell for Rovers. In goes the Mullewa ruck rover, fighting hard for the ball, big pack around the ball. Mullewa slapped the ball out. A Mullewa player was held while not in possession, so a free kick will go the way of Mullewa, and the Mullewa player with the ball is Greg Gelby. Greg Gelby sees a running player on the outer side, kicks it towards him. That player misses what he should have taken. Tristan Taylor. It gives the player there in Bursell an opportunity. Ball does come out. Comes the way of Shane Bonney. Bonney's kick's a poor one. Picks out the player there in Alone. Jamin Alone kicks the ball up along the ground on the outer side. Ball running free. Comes the way of the Mullewa worker who did well, and Gelby gets it up the ground and finds a teammate. That teammate is Karam Aitken. Aitken plays on quickly, finds Shane Bonney. Bonney, a good kick towards full forward, but out comes Jamie Geyer.
Courageous.
And Geyer takes a good, strong mark in the last line of defence. 16 minutes gone in this last term for GT Russell Chartered Accountants on Drennan O'Malley Motors Game Day on Radio Mummy, your home of GNFL footy. The ball goes the way down of Bursell, who, as Peter mentions, been very steady this afternoon. Goes out wide and finds Mitch Nesbitt. Nesbitt plays on with a short pass, finds Patterson Spout.
Out on the full.
But Spout's kick goes out on the full, as Peter mentioned. So Muller will get an opportunity to spear the ball quickly into attack. Ball goes towards the forward line. Out goes the Mullewa player. Greg Gelby has marked. And Leon Gelby has marked, I should say, deep in the left forward pocket. So Leon's kicked a couple this afternoon. Very awkward kick from where he is.
If Mullewa will take the lead, it's going to be hard for Rovers to fight back from here.
So there's still plenty of time, but yeah, as you say, Mullewa have the momentum at the moment. They have the run. And we see on Gelby, this is a very important kick. He kicks it right up towards the teeth of goal. Up they go. A Mullewa player reads the ball beautifully. A young Leadham Paper Talk, he read the ball beautifully.
Where was the pack?
He just went forward, had eyes only for the ball, and Leadham Paper Talk.
A very important mark in the context of this match.
Well, this will be the first lead of the game for the Mullewa Football Club. Leadham Paper Talk has been outstanding this afternoon, the young man. Very promising young player. And Leadham is 20 metres out, 15 metres out, directly in front, and has an opportunity to take Mullewa to the lead. as we head towards time on in this final term. Leadham Paper Talk shoots on goal. Goal umpire doesn't move. Straight through the centre. The ball's gone over the pack. It'll take a while to get it back from over there. It's gone over the fence. And the scoreboard rolls over. And Mullewa are up by 2 points on the Yalala scoreboard.
I think the ball might be out at uni, Glenn.
Yeah, there's a kid retrieving the ball, which is good to see. And the new ball is coming onto the pack, so Mullewa have been very...
So Mullewa have taken the lead here at Mullewa Oval this afternoon for the first time in the Strennan O'Malley game day, and what a game it's been. This is the final quarter, brought to you by GT Russell Chartered Accountants. Now, the Demons really need to think, how can they get back into this game? Momentum is now swung well and truly with Mullewa, and their tails up. A Mullewa side with their tails up is something that is pretty hard to deflate. The ball back in the middle now. Can Rovers do it? Time in the ruck for the Demons. He's been good this afternoon, been rucking right around the ground. The Demons held the lead, as we've mentioned, at quarter time by 30 points, 21 points at half time, 11 points at three-quarter time, and they have just given up the lead in the middle stages of the final term. Can they get it back? Can they turn things around? This is certainly our Strennan O'Malley game day, and we hope you're enjoying it here on Radio Mama.
The ball in the centre. Clayton Parfitt gets the ball forward, goes the way of Jamin alone. He breaks a tackle. Big kick towards full forward. Pack into the air. Good mark taken by the Rovers player. And that's Rovers have marked it.
What a beautiful mark.
Good mark. He had put two handles on it. Eventually he held it, and a good mark it was. So a good bit of play there from Jamin alone. Got the ball out of the centre very, very quickly.
Very tight angle, Glenn.
A very tight angle indeed. So the young player with the ball is Ray Taylor. So Ray Taylor, he's deep in the right forward pocket. Won't be a very easy shot from here, but he only needs to... he needs a goal to get the score back in line for Rovers. A point won't be good enough. So let's see how he goes. It'll be a difficult shot. He'll put it on his boot. There goes his kick. A very good shot. That's a beautiful goal from Ray Taylor. And a very good goal indeed.
Checkside kick.
So Rovers are back in the lead. Rovers are 12-7. They lead Mullewa 10-15. And Ray Taylor's kicked a beauty. A checkside kick from deep in the right forward pocket.
Come the moment, cometh the man. Jamin Lyon out of the middle was pretty special on the occasion, Glenn.
Yes, he's been very good when they needed him.
He has been.
So Ray Taylor, a very good goal there. He had to finish it off. He took a good mark to get it, because we saw Mullewa kick the last two goals, and Ray Taylor has kicked back. And
2 attempts at the mark, didn't get on the first one, but got it as it came down on the second attempt, and finished off with a nice checkside goal. 4
points the margin. We're into time on in this last quarter for GT Russell Chartered Accountants. So we had Mullewa. They had the lead for about a minute. And then
I hope you're enjoying the broadcast and filming footy, because this is probably one of the closest games we've had all season, Glenn.
Ball thrown up, goes the way again of Rovers. They get it to ground, goes the way of Alone, the former Subiaco League player. Gets his kick forward, goes the way now of the teammate, and Clayton Parfitt is put to the ground. Umpire Darren Forrester will come in and throw the ball up. Umpires this afternoon, umpires Luxton and Claire Knight, along with Darren Forrester, have done a wonderful job for the GNFL umpires.
Let the game flow, and the result is a great game of footy.
Ball to be thrown up again by umpire Forrester. Ball comes the way, and tackle players around the ball naturally. Both sides are pretty desperate, and the ball be thrown up again. So players of both sides pretty desperate about how things are going. So the ball is thrown up, comes the way of Mullewa, goes the way of a Mullewa player, goes the way of a Paper Talk. He was held while not in possession, and he goes to pick it up, and the ball will come back. So young Leadham Paper Talk to shoot the ball deep into the attack. So Leadham Paper Talk with the ball, and he's in the centre of the ground, or backward of centre. Just his kick's not a good one, but he has to go back in to retrieve it. He does that. This time he gets a better purchase on the ball, kicks it up towards half forward. Rovers in good position, but the Mullewa player does well. Spears it towards goal. Ball running free, and offline and out of bounds. So there's still a margin there, and the ball doesn't go through the points. So the boundary throw-in. So it's deep in attack for Mullewa. Mullewa need the next goal, to say the least. 75 plays 72.
Time ticking away, Glenn. You reckon we're into red time?
79, is it? 75, 79?
Are we in red time, you reckon, Glenn?
Oh, yeah, well and truly.
Okay,
yeah.
So the ball about to come in from deep attack for Mullewa. So a minute to go, we believe, on the clock. 2 minutes, sorry. Apologies, 2 minutes.
79-75.
In it comes now. Players setting themselves. Up they go. Knocked to ground. Coming out of the pack. Comes off the way of Rovers now. As they get it into space. Can they run onto it here as it comes toward the boundary in front of our broadcast position? Running into collectors, Ray Taylor. He collects a player in doing so. That player goes to ground as Ray comes in to apologise for that passage of play, but the umpire is making sure that everyone keeps their cool in this situation. There's some players come in and get a little bit carried away, but the Mullewa player is still down, Glenn. So in the dying stages, we haven't seen any clashes like this sort of game. We saw a beautiful hip and shoulder from Jamin alone in the first term, but other than that, this player was collected by Ray Taylor. I don't know if there's anything untoward, but he's jumped up. He's okay. Is the player, and he'll have the ball now. We're talking about the player in Keegan Simpson. So Simpson has the ball. He's had a miraculous recovery. And Simpson right at centre wing in front of our broadcast position is going to kick toward the goal end for Mullewa. It's a nice big kick. Players setting themselves. A mark into Mullewa to be pretty timely. Over the back of the pack it goes, but it is running first to the race in the ball is the Rovers player, and he takes it over the white line. So still an attack for Mullewa, Glenn, so they're desperate to get a score late in the game.
Yes, the next goal would win the game for Mullewa, but they need a goal, so they're under pressure. Time running out for the Mullewa Saints, but they have the ball in their forward 50. Ball thrown in. Goes the way of Mullewa now, who takes the ball. Umpire says the ball was held to him, and the umpire will come in and throw the ball up on the 50-metre line. Lots of players around the ball. Everyone's forward of centre, as you'd expect. Time running out for the Mullewa Saints, as Rovers look like they're going to get their first premiership points of the year.
5 points is the ball game now, Glenn.
Goes the way of the Rovers player. Whistle on play.
Mullewa need to score a goal.
And a free kick goes the way of Mullewa. So Mullewa with the ball. Greg Delby is that player. He centres the ball. He went right across the ground.
And little Brennan takes a timely mark. He plays on now, out to our broadcast position, into space. Players running onto it. The players feeling the intensity of this game this afternoon as it goes over the boundary. A free kick has been found going the way of the Mullewa player in Jaden Wall. Time ticking away. Have they got enough time? They need a goal to Mullewa to win this game. A point won't be enough as it goes back the way of Wall. He goes into space looking for the player there in Bonnie. Bonnie can't get to the ball and it goes over the boundary once again. So there is the siren to announce that Rovers have won their first game for season 2025. The Demons certainly had held the lead for most of the game, only giving it up for a smidgen of a time in the final term, but they have come back to win a very important game for the Rover Football Club, and it is Rovers 12-7, 70, what is it, 79? 79 have defeated Mullewa 10-15, 75. A 4-point ball game and a 4-point win to the Demons on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.
This game day is brought to you by our great sponsors, the City of Greater Geraldton, working with sporting groups and families to make our lifestyle even better. Stay tuned to the home of GNFL football, Radio Mama.